Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the stream for tonight. Obviously, it's card readings again. We had fun with these last week, so I thought we'd do it again this week for the Sunday stream. I've got Andy with me from Elemental Encounters.
Hello.
Andy's going to take your names down if you want to read him.
Mm-hmm.
His eyesight's about as good as mine.
It
So
is.
your name might not be what it actually is, but we'll get
Expect shortened names or very, very wrong ones.
So if you hear something that sounds similar to what you're called, it'll probably be you. Right.
I'll probably tag everybody as we're moving on to here anyway. So
Yeah, well,
right.
we'll just have a quick discussion while I'm finishing my cigarette off.
No worries.
Because the timer ran out before my cigarette did. But it's nice to see you all tonight. I'm going to be doing the 4 card readings again, obviously, because if more people come in, it does take a bit of a time. We'll be finishing, I'm hoping, round about 11 o'clock on the actual readings, if there's enough people wanting them. And then we'll just have a general chat after. Andy's got to leave at 12 o'clock because he's got a prior engagement, so he's got to run away.
He's got to do a big runner.
Yeah, but we'll have the card reading finished by then anyway.
Cool.
Just a shout out for Saturday again, just to remind everybody, if they're in the Barnsley, Rotherham, Leeds, general northern area, Andy's running an actual wand workshop. Totally free. You can turn up and make your own wand and take it home with you. Do you want to tell him a bit about it, Andy, while I finish my fag off?
Yeah, can do. So yeah, like Brett said, we're doing a wand workshop, which is, whittling your own, wand out of many different style woods. We've got an absolutely gorgeous venue, which is located on a nature reserve. Lots of awesome people turn up to it. It's completely free, drinks provided, all that. All you gotta do is just send me an inbox, and I'll drop you address where to come to.
And
yeah, go on.
The good thing is, anybody who's into the spirit side of things or whatever, or the elemental side, we did actually get activity when we were there last time.
We did.
So it's well worth coming just to see if that happens again.
Yeah, I'm thinking about taking Rembear down with me, to be fair.
Yeah, might not be a bad idea. I might bring my PSP 7 as well. I ain't gonna love the Roberts, but I might bring the PSP 7.
Yeah, cool.
And see what we get. I'll bring my K2 meter, but I'll need to shove a new battery in it because Fuzzy's currently got his. And I forgot to ask Jace to get me some the other day. Right, we'll make a start in a second then, because I've nearly finished my cigarette.
Alright, cool.
Who's first on the list, Andy?
Right, number 1 is my mother. She's in chat, but she'll not be typing because she ain't got an actual Google account, so she's going to be listening, if that's alright.
Okay. So I'm going to be talking to myself for this one.
Well, you can kind of talk to her, because she's listening. She's watching live, so she's going to text me after reading to say what to say to you, like.
Okay. Probably your big phone in capitals. Right, I've got to line these up first. See where they go. Oh, the Hierophant. The Emperor. The Strength. And the Hermit. Wow. That's extra. Oh, hang on, I'll slide them down a bit until they realise I was doing off the top of the screen. That is actually quite interesting, Andy, because all of these are masculine cards.
Yeah.
Right, how I normally do it is past, present, future, and final outcome. This is one of them readings, Andy, where I don't think that applies.
Okay.
Because all of these cards are considered. I swear I can't talk. I'm sorry, I thought that was your mother responding then. Because all these are a masculine card, so that's telling me this is coming from something to do with men and males and stuff in your mother's life, right? Okay. The Hierophant is basically a male symbolises a male advisor. It's not an husband figure or nothing like that. It's just the Hierophant, I always say, normally refers to friends,
Hmm.
and um, knowing what I know, it could be tied to that one.
Hmm.
Um, it's because they're going. It's weird. This is because it's starting with advice and ending with self-reliance, which is really interesting because what this reading's saying to me from start to finish is learning and finding your own path from what you've learned.
Right.
Um, Whoever this guy was, and I will say his name, Peter. I ain't saying it is Peter,
Yeah.
but whoever the guy is was very knowledgeable. He was very mystical, um, but not just mystical. He was what I would call a very down to earth person. Somebody who called a spade, and
Yeah.
he is somebody who is or was close to your mother, right?
Yeah.
Um, he taught your mother a lot, or he's teaching your mother a lot, because I ain't getting off this reading whether he's somebody alive or dead,
Okay.
But it's definitely a male who taught, a male who your mother looked up to, somebody your mother respected, but it was somebody who your mother personally considered she learnt a lot from.
Okay.
Um, but I don't think it's an husband, and I don't think it could be a father figure, but I don't think so. I'm getting friend off it, definitely friend.
Hmm.
Um, Linked in with the Emperor, this is where the father figure comes in, or the male aspect. It's son, brother, lover, or male friend.
Okay.
And because those two are side by side, it is saying that this person has taught your mother to have a very deep sense of, oh God, what's the word? Self will. I'm trying to think of the proper word for it. Um, Self motivation is probably the best thing. What she's got off this bloke is now coming into her present, where she's using what she's learnt off this bloke to forge her own pathway.
Right.
Right? Um, it's also I'm also getting conflict off it as well, Andy, because of the sword he's holding, and I don't
Okay.
know I don't know why. There is conflict, not major conflict, but I don't know whether it's a conflict of the physical or a conflict of the mental. I've got a funny feeling it might be more of the physical, being that strength is there.
Yeah.
If the moon or the star had been next to it, I think it would have been more of an emotional or a mental conflict. This, I think, is more of a material, physical type of
Right.
conflict that's coming through.
Okay.
Connected back to the Hierophant, obviously,
Hmm.
um, and then linking on to strength, which is really odd because it that show well not odd, but it does show that there's a positive outcome coming.
Right.
Because strength is considered one of the positive cards. I know this is going to sound odd, and I know the story of your mother and the thing, but if you look, she's with a dog,
I
or with
know.
with a canine type of what's it. So,
It's bizarre.
and I do know the situation, so it's a bit weird for me to,
Yeah.
but
No.
the dog
Yeah.
is featuring strongly in the card.
It is.
Is coming off, and if you look, the person is actually leaning down, interacting. I think it's meant to be a lion, possibly, but
Right.
it's canine looking to me at the moment.
Yeah.
And so and that I think that is representing your mother interacting with this dog in some way. And I know the story of what's going on with the dog,
Yeah.
so I think in that respect there's going to be a positive outcome, most definitely, most definitely. But
Right.
there's also a link with another animal as well, or other animals, which I'm getting off it, which I can't understand what it is. Has your mother got any other animals?
She has. Yeah.
There's something there that the animals are going to play a very important part in near future,
Right.
definitely in the near future. Um, I think she's going to start spending a lot more time around animals, or she's going to start spending a lot more time with animals.
Mm-hmm.
It's some animal related, definitely. Um, not, I think dogs. I'm getting the impression dogs. Definitely dogs, 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 dogs. But it may be animals in general.
Right.
There's also something coming up that in the near future, which again is going to be a bit of a trial for your mother. Not a bad trial, but there's going to something that she personally finds a little bit trying. It may be. I'm getting the impression it's more of a friendship thing.
Right.
She's going to find a friendship or somebody she's close to is going to become a bit of a trial to her. Now, I ain't getting the impression it's close family. I'm getting the impression it's someone within a social circle, but not actually immediate family, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's more of a friend thing, but there's going to be some kind of conflict coming up there. Now, it ain't a bad one, but there's either going to be some kind of disagreement where they may not speak for a couple of days or something. But there's going to be some kind of conflict where your mother and I'll say a friend because that's what I think it is is going to come up, and,
Right.
and and it's definitely going to set them at loggerheads. It ain't going to be long term or anything, but to your mother at the time, it's going to be considered very important.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely within a social circle, but not within the immediate family circle, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm getting the impression of outside that, but inside the social circle. Definitely somebody I knows, but not family.
Okay.
It's more of a friend thing. Definitely a friend thing. Um, Leading on to the hermit, this one is really, really interesting because again, it's another male card,
Mm-hmm.
but again, it's reinforcing this self reliance. There's something linking back to whoever that person is at the beginning of the reading. That he's saying that your mother is going to develop a lot of self reliance, or she is going to, she ain't going to have to worry about things so much.
Yeah.
She's going to have her independence. That person has allowed her independence or has helped her independence, not only physically but emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. There's some kind of peace of mind linking right the way back through the cards. And I know that sounds weird with what's going on at the moment, but there's definitely peace of mind linking back. But I definitely think overall the situation your mother's going through at the moment concerning this person is definitely going to be positive because and it's going to resolve itself in a way that your mum's going to be happy with. But
Right.
your mother's going to benefit from it greatly. Not just in the physical sense, but in the emotional sense as well. Is that okay?
Yeah. Brilliant.
Okay, go. So she can ding ding ding, as much as she wants to. But that's what I'm. There's definitely this teacher coming through the what's it and stuff. And then I'll just have to leave you a sec because
Yeah.
phone's ringing.
Yeah.
Can you
No
just
worries.
chat for us? Cheers.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. I think that was pretty cool. I'm sure my mum will text me any minute to let me know her thoughts. Right. So if anybody would like a card reading, just let me know and I'll add your names to the list. We've got Tara Bell up next. Is she still around? Yeah, it looks like she's still at chat. Cool. Um, I think Brett does absolutely amazing at these. Me, I'll be honest.
Sorry about dropping the headphones on the floor. I probably just deafened everybody. Sorry about that. Jason just finished work. He'd rung me to tell me he was back home.
All right, cool.
Right, I'll just stick these back and then I'll give them a good shuffle.
No worries. We've got Tara next on the list.
Tara Stara. Okay. Let's just give these a shuffle then. Hi, Joanne. Hi, Lee. Right, I'm just shuffling the cards again. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. Oh, the lovers.
Oh,
The moon. Judgment. Ooh, I'm getting some off these straight away. Right. Um, right, Joe. Tara. Hmm, okay. Um, right, we'll start with the lovers. Obviously, the lovers pretty much represents what it says it does, which is love, relationships, both family and friends. Um, what that is saying to me is that they're in your past relationships, both within and without your family, have been very significant to you. You're the type of person who tends to consider the emotional side of things more important than the physical, shall I say. Um, I don't know what's going. I don't know whether you're with anybody or not at the moment. But what I'm getting off this reading, and I'll be honest with you, is there's some kind of breakup coming somewhere, um, and it's coming soon. I ain't saying with this partner, but there's definitely a breakup within one of these relationships, most definitely, because that is signified by the moon. As you can see, if you can see on that card, there is like a little. It's actually a crayfish, but people think it's a lobster. Um, and in most people describe it as a lobster, Andy, but it is actually a crayfish. And
Brilliant.
and because it's linked with the moon, right next to the lovers, and judgment is the other side. They're all linking together to say this is more. And I ain't been trying to scare you or anything, and I ain't saying this is going to be like the splitting up of a close relationship, but there's definitely some sort of relationship split coming here. It could be with a friend. It could be with a workmate. It could be somebody within your personal life. That's for you to decide, sort of thing. But it's definitely a relationship coming to an end, and I hate doing these because it's a bit negative. This one,
Yeah.
um, and again, like I say, it's linked to the moon because the moon is a very strange card. It's what our class as a neutral card. It can either be positive or negative depending on what's round it. Because judgment is going into your future. This is what makes me think that linking back through the moon, which is a sign of deception, back to the lovers, which is a sign of relationships. So what it's saying to me is that some sort of relationship is, and it's going to be a relationship that ends because of trickery or deception is the best way of putting it. Um, this ain't very good, is it? Telling somebody this, but I'm just going to say it as it's coming. There's definitely going to be deception in a relationship, and it's going to be a final judgment on the relationship. Most definitely, it's going to be an ending of a relationship, and it's linked in again with the Hermit, which shows that it leaves you away from it, separate on your own. Um, shouldn't I? Yeah, fuck it. Um, personally, I think it's going to be a close. It's going to be a close thing. It's going to be a person who's close to you, either family member or partner, most definitely. But this is a really strange reading because there's a lot of turmoil in it. Definitely. No, I don't wear a headscarf when I'm reading. Um, it's definitely a negative sort of thing. But personally, I don't think you're going to find it. This is an odd thing to say, but I don't think you're obviously going to find it that negative. I think it's possibly going to come to you as a relief, Tara. Whatever's going on at the moment, I think you're already aware of it, or you're going to become aware of it very, very soon. But it's not all negative because the hermit is a sign of self resilience. But it's also making me think that because the lamp's jumping out on me, which is the brighter side of the card, which is saying to me that whatever this split is, it's going to be for the best anyway, and you're going to benefit from it. And it's also like illumination. So I honestly think that you are aware either now or you're about to be very, very soon of this situation. Like I say, the deceptions in the present because the moon is in the position of the present. So what's going to happen is going to happen soon. But I do honestly think you're aware of it now, or you're very, 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 very close to becoming aware of it. It's you who's going to make the decision on this. It's not going to be somebody else. It's not going to be that somebody's going to break away from you. You're going to break away from somebody else. It's going to be you who passes the judgment, not them. And I will say, with the tarot cards, things are not set in stone. All this shows is how things are going to go if you continue along the path. If you decide to forgive this person, then it'll all change again. But what it's telling me is you're best, whoever it is, to let this person go. Because in the long run, it's going to be better for you. And I think, in your own mind, it's going to be better for you. And I'll just keep getting this sense of you already know, or you already suspect. That is what I'm getting. Oh yeah, she'll definitely get through it, Joanne, because the Hermit is a positive card. The Hermit is not a negative card, because a lot of people seem to think that the Hermit means you're on your own, which it can do, but not in. But I'm not getting that in this respect, because the Hermit is also a sign of strong self-resilience, and I think that's what's coming from this. But what's jumping out on that Hermit card at me is the actual lantern in this reading, which always shows self-illumination or self-discovery. So in the long run, it's definitely going to work out fine. Whatever happens, whatever this breakup is, or whoever it's with, is going to be it's going to be a positive thing for Tara. It's not going to be negative at all. I know it ain't nice going through something like that, but she will come out the other side of it glad that it happened. So there you go. Sorry about that, Tara, but I'd rather just be honest and read it as I see it. Like I say, it could be totally wrong, but I'm just telling it here as I actually see it, and that is actually what's coming off them cards. It's definitely there's an ending. There's an ending of a relationship. It's definitely relationship ending, but it's going to be your choice. You've got the choice to make. You either end it or you carry it on. She's got to was that right out of her? Yeah. She's got to wash that person right out of her hair, Max. Most definitely. But that's all I can say on that one, Tara. Sorry. That's good. That's good. But
Yeah,
you can't say with ending on the Hermit that you're very self-resilient, and it'll be better for you in the long run. It will most definitely be better for you in the long run. And like I say, it's definitely a decision of yours. It's not going to be a decision of somebody else. It's going to be your decision. Okay, folks.
yeah, sending some positives to Tara on that one.
Yeah. I always hate
Definitely.
getting them type.
Yeah. My mum says she was blown away, thank you. She goes, you're absolutely 100% spot on.
Tell her she's welcome.
Will do. Right, next up, number 3 is Chloe.
Chloe. Hang on a bit, let's shuffle these. I should get one of them shuffling machines, Andy. It'd be a lot quicker.
He would.
It actually defeats the purpose that you're supposed to like.
Well, yeah, it's all about touch as well, isn't it? And getting your energy resonating and all that mystical stuff.
Okay, Chloe's found dead, but she's here. That's all right then. Oh wow. Well, I think you know what that means, Mags. Okay, I'm going to word this. I'm going to word this carefully. Again, this is somebody I know, but and Mags, it is tell her it is definitely relating to that situation. Obviously, in the past, it's indicating the relationship. Leading on to the Hermit in the present, which is the Hermit, which I think in the, because it's the other side is the Tower, which I consider the most negative card in the deck. Um, Again, but this is a breakup that's already happened, as you're aware, because the Hermit is actually in the present. So it's saying that the being on the own is actually now, rather than something that's coming up. Um, right, we'll go through it as it is. It's actually a very very straightforward reading. This one, I've got to be honest. Um, like I say, the relationships, the important aspect in it, because it's the thing that started the reading off. It's the significator card all the way through this. There's been a recent separation. I've got to be careful how I word this. There's been a recent separation, and linking onto the Tower, it was destructive. It was out of the blue, and it was totally unexpected, and it was life changing. Um, to be honest with you, Mags, you could read this. You could read these four cards yourself, because you can see exactly what this is referring to. Um, what I will say is, because it's leading onto strengths, it's got a positive ending. Um, it's more of an advisory. This, it's telling Chloe that she's got to draw on inner strength to get her through. But honestly, Mags, I cannot believe how these cards have dropped, because I know what's been going on with Chloe and stuff, and you can see for yourself what it's saying. Um, this is more of an advisory read in this one. This is Chloe's, Mags's daughter's. It's coming as advisory to find inner strength. The only person who's going to get Chloe through this situation is Chloe. Simple as. Um, Other people will help, obviously, but the only person who's going to get Chloe through this is going to be Chloe, most definitely. Um, what's been going on with the first two cards, which were past and present, is still going to spill into the future with the Tower for the time being, and this is going to be like the next 6 months or so. There's still going to be a lot of upheaval, Mags. There's still going to be things happening connected to it that she may not be aware of at the moment. I know it's turned her life upside down, because that is what the Tower signifies. It is destruction. The lightning bolt signifies things hitting out of the blue in a destructive manner. Um, and obviously it did. But because it's fell there, it's telling me that it's not over yet, but it's not going to be long term. There is still things going to be popping up occasionally. I think she's over. I think the worst is actually over now, to be honest with you. But there's going to be outside influences. There are going to be outside influences that are still coming in to cause disruption and stuff. But it's not going to be a long term thing. It's definitely not going to be a long term thing. But the overall message from this reading is inner strength, inner strength, inner strength. That's what I'm getting off these cards constantly. Is the inner strength thing, and it is basically saying that she's got to pull herself up by her bootstraps and move on, and it's only her who's going to be able to do it. She can get all the help she wants off friends and family, but the only one who's going to pull her out of this is herself. But it is positive, Mags. At the end, had the Tower have been swapped with strength, then it would have been a much more worrying reading. But because strength is the final outcome, it's more of an advisory, leading on from the last three. But those four cards are amazing coming out for considering what's happened recently, and it literally is just iterating on all that. But like I say, just tell her to be careful, for the next few months, because things might creep up on her. As it does, your mind tends to wander onto subjects and people outside of the situation, sometimes poke the nose in and stuff like that. But I think it's going to be no more serious than that. There's no more massive shocks to come. No more lightning bolts. Definitely, the worst is over. But it is emphasising over and over again inner strength, inner strength, inner strength, and that's what she needs. Okay? You're welcome. Oh, who's next, Andy?
Next on list is Nerd Realness.
Nerd realness.
Yeah.
Nero realness.
Nero.
Which is what both of us read it as at first.
Yeah, we did. We did. Yeah, I agree, Joanne. It's like a proper heads up, isn't it? Like, you know.
I'm fine, thank you. I'll just shuffle them a bit longer. Right, here we go.
Here we go.
Ooh, the world. The Emperor. Ooh, the Devil.
Ooh.
Link to the High Priestess. Interesting. Okay. Past is the world. This is going to sound really boring, but basically, in your recent past, the cards ain't actually coming through with anything majorly dire. It's actually a very positive card, the world. What that says to me is your recent past has actually been quite good. Maybe not perfect, but definitely not to the point where it's been anything majorly horrible. You're welcome, Chloe. The world is a sign of the world card is a sign of success. So I think what it's coming at the moment is basically a recent success is still quite important in your life at the moment. There's been something that you've been in your recent past, and I'm in recent past. I mean, last 6 months that you've been striving for a long time, and it came to fruition, and you feel really confident and happy that it did. Um, it's linked with the Emperor. I get it. I'm getting something to do with father figure. Now, not necessarily a father, but somebody who you consider as a father. I don't think it's a brother. I think it's coming more through as a father figure. Um, and I think it's linked to it's definitely linked to the world. The success linked to a male person who you view, not necessarily as a father figure, but someone who is significantly older than you, who has been part of this success or has helped with this success, or has in some way made you feel that the last 6 months haven't been as bad as maybe they could have been had this person not been around. Don't know who it is. Definitely a male figure, definitely older than you. It's somebody definitely level-headed. Somebody who can be quite abrupt, but also somebody who talks a lot of sense. Is the impression I'm getting. I thought Streamlabs. I thought it was what's it answering me then. Like I say, I don't. I'm not getting brother off this card. I'm getting older male. Older male, definitely, definitely older male. Which could be like older friend, older, relative, as in father, grandfather, uncle, somewhere along them lines. It's definitely somebody within your close social circles has played a very important part in the last 6 months of keeping you settled and keeping you grounded. Because I get the impression from that world card that was Becky keeps cheating. Before then, there was a bit of turbulence, but in the last 6 months, this male figure has come into your life, and they've actually settled things out a bit more. They've smoothed the ground out a bit, shall we say? Right. Leading on to the present, the future, you've got the devil. Now, to me, this is coming as, because of the last two cards, it's coming as a warning. It's saying be careful of not slipping back into old ways. because you will end up being trapped. You'll end up trapping yourself in your own situation. That to me is screaming, beware of not going back into old ways, because the devil, it doesn't necessarily signify evil as such, but it actually it signifies bad habits, and being entrapped by things, not having the decision for yourself, that somebody else is making decisions for you. And what that's saying to me is in coming up in the next 6 months, you've got to make your own decisions. You've got to consciously keep yourself on the path you currently are, because your success will continue then, is what it's saying. Linked in with the High Priestess, it's actually really interesting, because believe it or not, those two are like polar opposites, because the High Priestess is a keeper of secrets, very similar to the Magician card or the Conjurer, depending on which deck you've got, which shows a very mystical. There's something you're going on. I don't know. This sounds fucking corny, Andy. It signifies that you're about to embark on a mystical journey, and I know that sounds corny. It don't necessarily mean you're going to start casting magic and stuff, but there's definitely a paranormal link here. There is most definitely a paranormal link here, and it's to do with, shall I say, forbidden knowledge, or knowledge that's currently hidden from you. Maybe not. I ain't saying it's going to be newly discovered stuff, but again, it's going to be a choice for you, because the two pillars either side of the High Priestess are black and white, which signify good and evil. So what it's saying is, stay on the path you are, and you'll go to the white side. Slip back into old habits, and you'll go to the darker side. But it's definitely going to be an experience on a mystical level. It's not going to be an emotional thing, and it's not going to be a physical thing. It's definitely a mystical thing, because the devil and the High Priestess are linked. You like a tipple. But it is very interesting, because you don't often see the devil come out with the High Priestess, or I don't. Not very often, and I always love it when they're together, because they are basically two quite mystical cards, and they are exact opposites. And so that's what shows. This reading, all the way through this reading, it's all about balance. I'm getting balance off it, but it's a choice. You've got to. You're standing on the knife edge. It's up to you which way you want to go. But one is going to be a positive experience for you. One is going to be a negative. But it's definitely on a mystical level. Okay, I get the joke. It's definitely on a mystical level. Like I say, it's not emotional. It's not physical. It's definitely mystical. Maybe you're going to get into the paranormal a lot more. I don't know, but you're going to find your own truth. Is basically that's the best way of putting it. You're going to find your own truth. So there you go. Hope that was okay for you. That was another inch.
That last bit at card reading sounded like something out of Star Wars.
I know. You're going to become a Jedi.
Yeah. Light side up, dark side up.
Yeah, but that is what it is, Andy.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good or a bad choice. You're welcome. It's horrible calling somebody.
And it's obviously going to be Darth Nero. I'm going to predict it now.
Darth Nero. No, I don't think he's going to become a Jedi, but it's going to be an equivalent thing mystically wise. He ain't going to start, rising things off the floor. Oh, that's odd. How's that happened? Shit, the cards have all flipped round. How the hell has that happened? Hang on, I need to sort my cards out, Andy, because for some reason, half the cards have suddenly flipped round the other way.
They flip round?
Yeah. Some of them are forward facing, some of them are backward facing.
Oh.
Hi, Fiona. I don't know why it's done that. They've been in my hand all the while I've been doing this.
Yeah, very strange.
Fiona, I believe in fairies. What are fairies, Fiona?
I'm yet to meet one of them.
Yeah. Are they like Fey monks?
Brilliant.
Right, who's next, Andy?
Right, up next we've got Stephen Dennis.
All right, Stephen. I'll give these a good shuffle. Oh, everybody's on about Mandalorian.
It does look like it's going to be good.
Yeah. I got to spell it right. I take it you believe in fairies, Fiona.
Well, you're not alone, Fiona. You're not
No,
alone.
I'm in a relationship with one. Right, here we go. My God. Okay, this is interesting. Justice and judgment side by side.
Wow.
Um, right, straight away, it's obvious what's popping off the cards with them two. Right, this is recent past. There's been some kind of legal matter going on. Whether it's been in a court or whether it's just in your head, I can't tell you. And I don't mean that negatively, by the way. No, it's not bad. It's not bad reading at all, Joanne. There's been some kind of legal wrangling recently. Bit of a battle, mate. And I ain't saying it's in a court, but it's definitely justice, as in legal matters. They don't. It doesn't necessarily mean legal matters in the court because a lot of people sort their differences out outside of courts and stuff like that. But there's definitely been some kind of, and I would say false judging in the past. That's basically, and I'd say it's been an unfair decision towards you rather than you towards somebody else. That's what I'm getting off it. There's been some kind of judging of a situation going on recently, Stephen, and you've been wronged in some way. Nothing bad, nothing major. I ain't saying people have accused you of anything horrible or nothing like that. I'll get the impression it's probably quite a minor thing, but you've took it to heart. It's been important to you, and you feel that you're still being judged because of it. Again, I get the impression it's probably a family member. They've been making harsh judgments, and they are still continuing to make negative judgments, or not very favourable ones. And like I say, I don't think it's anything horrible or bad, but a family member is judging your situation wrong, or is judging something concerning you wrongly. They're seeing it right. Okay, sounds like your sister. They're seeing it in a different way to you, but whatever it is, you're in the right in this. If it is your sister, she's in the wrong. So I'm probably gonna have your sister ringing me up now, nagging her. But they're continuing it, Stephen. It's continuing into your present. This is what I'm saying. They're making snap judgments regarding you, and they're wrong. They're wrong judgments. They're not right. Again, leading on to the Emperor, it will turn out okay because the Emperor's a nice positive card. Very interesting that you've got the Emperor and the Empress side by side. I don't know if your parents are still alive, but when these two are together, they always signify some kind of parental connection to me. If your parents are alive still, there's going to be something that your parents are going to do that is going to be very significant to you. If your parents aren't around anymore, something concerning your parents, right? Something concerning your parents is going to crop up. Something that's going to be important to you. For some reason, I'm getting the impression it's something off your mother's side or something to do with your mother. Um, Maybe you're going to find something out about the family. Nothing negative. It's going to be a nice experience. I will say that, because when they're side by side, that they're never negative. But your parents are going to they're going to figure significantly in your very recent, your very short upcoming future. There is something connecting to parents that is is vitally important that you get to grips with coming up soon. Vitally important, but it's a positive thing. Um, and I do get the impression it's from your mother's side, and it could also signify a pregnancy in the family as well. That's upcoming, or that you're going to hear about pretty soon. But because it's linked with the emperor, it's parental. It's not just your mother; it's your dad as well. But the main influence is from mother's side of the family. Definitely from mom's side, not dad's. But it does concern your dad, which is really odd, because they are, they're literally sitting side by side, and I call them the parent gods when they're together. Um, I don't know, maybe there's so now not much, Julian. There's something very vitally important about parents, Stephen, and I don't know what it is. I ain't getting off the cards exactly what it is, but I'm getting off the cards that mother is the one that's coming through more than father, but dad is included as well. So I don't know what that is, because it's a very, it's a positive. It's positive. It's definitely positive. I'm getting the impression it's positive. It ain't nothing negative, but for some reason it's connecting back to this argument. So something to do with your parents is actually connecting back to this argument, and it's going to be something concerning your parents that I think is going to end the argument. Is what I'm saying. But your parents are definitely connected to this argument. So if it's your sister, I don't know whether you're arguing with your sister over family matters, but there's going to be some connection to your parents that is actually going to help you resolve it. So you need to concentrate on your mom and dad, and it's something connected to them that is going to help you resolve this. It's what I call an unfair judgment, and this judgment is ongoing at the moment, but there's definitely a strong parental connection with it, and the parent connection is going to be the thing that actually helps solve it. But I can't tell you exactly what. But mother keeps coming into my head, which makes me think that it's something to do. It's something more so from your mother's side that's going to help. So I hope that helps, Stephen. But I haven't got a clue what that is. It's strange, because you don't normally get a conflict set of cards right next to a parental set of cards, unless obviously somebody who's in a bad relationship with the parents, and I ain't getting that here anyway. Like you said, your parents ain't here anymore. But I'm definitely getting family arguments off the first two, and something to do with your parents off the second two, which connect back to the argument, but are also the solution to the argument. It's really, really weird, the impressions I'm getting off it. But that's all I can give you at the moment. The new man I've been chatting with comes from the same area as my mother. There's definitely a mother connection there, Stephen. I have no idea what it is. But I'll get the. I don't know whether it's that, because I'll get the impression your dad's involved as well. I definitely get the impression that your dad is involved as well. But your mother is the stronger connection of the two to whatever it is. But there you go. That's all I can give you at the moment. That's all I'm getting off of. Sorry about that, but that's all I can say.
I think it's going
Okay.
to be one of them that like comes to light
Yeah,
as
yeah.
stages go on into it.
It
Yeah,
definitely is. But
yeah,
there was definitely judgment there, Andy, and it was unfair judgment.
yeah,
But,
yeah.
it's odd that the parental. You very rarely see the Empress and the Emperor come together.
Very
And
rare.
when they do, I call them the parent cards, because they're the
Hmm.
mother and father figure. That is
Yeah,
what they actually represent. They also represent a massive boost in strength as well, believe it or not,
right.
because it's male strength and female strength. But when you
Yeah,
get them
yeah.
united like that, it's like a massive. It's a self confidence boost. So it could be relating to that as well. But there's definitely some kind of connection there with his parents, and it's leading back to that. whatever's going on, argument-wise. Or
Mm.
I ain't saying necessarily argument, but somebody's judging. He may not be
Yeah.
aware of it, but somebody's, you know, being judgmental. Well, I'm going to need to nip to the loo, Andy. Can you just
Yep.
babble for
Of
a sec
course.
while I...
Yep. No problem. Right, Gillian, I've got you on list. Next up, we're going to have Chris Williams, and then we've got Kat, and then Gillian. So, Jackie Matthews, I will put you on list as well. It's great. Yep. I've got you on, Jackie. So yeah, some fantastic readings again, isn't there, tonight, everybody? Brett does absolutely amazing.
Alexa, turn on bathroom lights.
Oh, he's off with his Alexa again. Yeah, if it's buffering, everybody, just hit refresh and it should come straight back. Fiona, yeah, I'll pop you on list as well. He's into Joanne, he's proper bossy with you. I'd be telling him to go do one if I were Alexa, I'll tell you now. I'd be giving him little mini electric shocks every time he touched something. Oh, I can't get into the fair topic, Lee, it's not fair. I'll be blabbling on all night. With plenty more opportunities to talk about them little rascals. Yeah, me too, Gillian. I'd be freaked out of it listening to every single word that I'm saying. It's not for me, that. I'd be wearing a tinfoil hat all the time. Oh, dear.
I'm back. Just bear
Hey,
with me
but
while I roll a ciggy, because I ain't good when I get nicotine depleted.
that's it, innit? You've got to top your levels up, haven't you?
I'm hoping somebody gets a decent reading in a bit, because I'm sounding like the frigging Grim Reaper tonight.
Well, what you've got so far, you've done 5, and you've got another 5 on list.
Right, okay.
Okay.
Well, that should work out fairly well, because we've been going for an hour now, so
Yeah, yeah.
that should put us up to the 2 hours sort of thing. Because, I don't really want to do it longer than 2 hours, because one, I start to
That's
get a sodding headache, and 2, I start to get severely dehydrated.
yeah, yeah. So, do you want me to roughly cap it about there for tonight then?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yep. Alexa, turn off bathroom lights. Thank you. At least you don't mention the toilet seat tonight. It's random. She only mentions the toilet seat every so often.
Oh, really? I thought it were every single time.
No, it's random. Sometimes she says okay, sometimes she says hope you flushed and all, hope you put the seat down and all sorts of things.
Right.
I freaked out last night. My telly upstairs came on and realised the dog was on my remote. Could have been worse, Gillian. It could have been a little demon sitting on it. Right, let's shuffle these. And who's next then, Chris?
It's Chris, yeah.
I'd do us a favour, Chris, and think positive thoughts. Mind you, Stevens weren't bad, because Stevens weren't a
Yeah.
negative reading.
Yeah, it had a good outcome, didn't it? Yeah.
And to be honest, even though Tara's, was on the negative side, it's got a positive outcome.
hmm
Everybody's safe so far. Nobody's going to die. Ooh, judgment again. The Wheel of Fortune. Oh, God.
Aye. It's always an interesting card.
It is when it's linked with the devil. I said think positive, Chris. Right. Right, this is more of a warning reading, but not a negative warning reading, if you understand what I'm saying. Right. Basically, Chris, what this is saying to me is you've been a little bit too harsh with yourself in the past. No, it ain't overly negative, Joanne. It ain't overly negative. It's more of an advisory one. This one. I think it's more of a pep talk, right? Right. Basically, I think all of this is one of them readings where it's referring specifically about you, Chris, not about other people, because I'm getting the impression that the judgment is personal. That maybe in the past you've been a bit too overcritical of yourself and maybe not had the confidence to do the things that maybe you should have done. Um, Linking into the Wheel of Fortune, which basically stands for leaving things to chance. I think you've been one of these people who you've wanted to do something, but then you've thought, oh no, I don't know whether I can do it. I don't know whether I should do it. I'll just wait and see what happens. That is what it's saying here. Um, this ain't negative, actually, Andy. Thank God.
It comes across as a bit negative when you first see them, but yeah,
but this is why I always say to people, you cannot read a single card for somebody because you've got to take into account what's around them and what they're leading into and what they're leading from.
agreed.
Because if I'd have turned any one of them up, well, any of the last two out, the last two particularly, can be quite negative cards if read on their own.
Hmm.
But because of what they're with here, they're not. So, like I'm saying, Chris, you have had a tendency to be a bit over judgmental, not of other people, but of yourself. This is definitely what I call a self reading, where it's literally about the person and not the people or the situation around them. And it's saying, and even up to this point, because the Wheel of Fortune is actually sitting in the present position, it's saying that you're still guilty of doing it at the moment. You're not as bad as you were, but you're still guilty of doing it, and that is why it's leading into the Hangman, into your immediate future, because the Hangman can be a sign of stagnation and things not changing, literally everything in suspension. And what it's saying is, it's an advisory. It's saying you've got to be more positive about yourself because you're capable of doing whatever you want to do. But you yourself, this reading is saying you yourself are your own worst enemy, is what it's saying to me, and that you're gonna end up stuck in a rut if you're not, so to speak, if you're not careful. But you don't have to. You don't have to be because you've got the Wheel of Fortune where it is in your present. It's saying it's showing you two specific paths here, and it's either good luck or bad luck, and it's a sign of fate and destiny, or the exact opposite of fate and destiny. And what it's saying is that as you move, as you're moving along now, in the next 6 months, be more confident in yourself. Definitely be more confident in yourself because what you want to do and what you want to achieve, you can do. But what this reading is saying is if you continue doing what you're doing now and leaving things up to chance, or maybe not having the confidence, you're going to end up getting nowhere. Where this reading is saying, the sky's the limit if you're prepared to just have the confidence in yourself. Because otherwise, you're going to end up stagnated and your thinking's going to be in a rut. You're not going to branch out, and this is definitely saying to me, this reading, it's time for you to spread your wings a little bit and to start doing the things you really want to do, because otherwise your life is going to end up chained to other people. Um, Again, I'm getting a family situation that's going on. Um, Maybe not now, but it's coming up. That you just need to treat a little bit delicately. It's nothing bad. It's just that you're going to end up feeling obliged to a family member if you ain't careful. And what these cards are telling you is don't. Whatever they say or whatever they want. And I do think it's a family person rather than an acquaintance or friend person. I think a family member is going to try a little bit of emotional blackmail, and these cards are saying, don't fall for it. Because this person knows what you like, and they're going to want to take advantage of it and sort of entrap you into a situation you don't really want to be in. And what these cards are saying is, don't, because you don't have to. The time now is yours. This is what this spread is saying is the future now is yours, but you've got to grasp it. Don't leave things up to chance. Don't leave things running the way they're going now. Spread your wings and fly, basically. Hope that helped. We got dead silence. Has everybody died in the chat?
I must say, it's gone really quiet in chat, hasn't it?
Yeah, but that wasn't a negative one. That definitely wasn't a negative one. Yes, definitely, Joanne. He's been too self-critical, way too self-critical, and maybe not. That was all about self-doubt and telling him it's time to come out of that, because there's no need for him to be self-doubting. He's got the toolkit he needs to get on with what he wants to do. But there are people in the background who will actually take advantage of his nature at the moment and use it to their own advantage. And that reading was basically just saying, bugger 'em, spread your wings and fly. Okay. Who's
Brilliant.
next, Andy?
We've got Kat.
This is where the tarot cards catch fire.
And she says not to hold back.
Well, don't blame me if you get the tower and the devil side by side after telling me that. Because I should be buying me a nice new black suit if they turn up together.
Yeah, sit down, Kat. Take a deep breath. Get your 4,000 ones out and, get some positivity around you.
Sit in the middle of a crystal circle.
Yeah.
Ooh, I put them too far across.
Here we go.
Oh. Oh, this is interesting. This is very interesting, actually, Kat. Right, basically, what I'm getting here is, for your past is the Hierophant, which is, again, a keeper of hidden knowledge, a spiritual advisor, has played an important role in your immediate past, is what it's saying. This is probably you, Andy. This card would probably refer to you.
Okay.
Because recent past, it's the learning of new secret knowledge. That is
Okay.
what the Hierophant, of a spiritual level, is what it's saying. So what it's saying to me here, Kat, is in your recent past you have actually met, and honestly I think it's Andy. I think this does actually refer to Andy. That Andy is, Andy, you've been learning a lot of stuff in the very recent past that is moving you into your present, which is the Lovers. Now you're not having an affair with Kat, Andy, you say.
Woo!
He does actually. But it's actually funny that the people around Andy, they always get the Hierophant popping up in their spread. It is really weird. It's like a very strong feature in everybody in that circle. Always get the Hierophant in the readings. Everybody gets it. Yeah. So what that's saying is you've been on a journey of discovery, Kat, recently. A lot of new things that have actually, I think that probably took you by surprise more than anything else. Kat is Lily Beach, Fullatrix, I think that's how it pronounces it, or Fullatrix.
Fullatrix.
Fullatrix. Yeah, it's Lily anyway. It could be cat, but I'm getting the impression it's if it's your guru, it's got to be male. It's not female. It's definitely male. There's info coming from a male, not a female. So I don't know whether your guru's male. Is your guru female or male? It's female, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Now this is definitely a male cat. This is definitely knowledge from a male, not from a female. If it had been a female, it would have been the high priestess there, not the hierophant. So it's definitely coming from a male, um, most definitely, and it's you're going to hate this, Andy,
Oh, go on.
because what it's saying in Cat's future is there's going to be a conjoining of beliefs. I don't think this is lovers on a physical level. This is the coming together on a spiritual level. So I think she's going to integrate what she already knows with what she's currently learning.
Okay.
There's going to be no swapping from one to the other. There's definitely going to be an integration of knowledge. Cat,
I can agree with that because she spoke about that before.
you know,
Yeah.
this isn't a physical lovers thing. This is a mental spiritual type thing. And I'm saying that because the thing that's actually attracting me attention is not the nude man in the card. It's actually the angel above,
hmm
which tells me it's a spiritual thing. So, but it's a conjoining. It's the coming together. So that is telling me that whatever, and I do honestly believe that hierophant is you. I do think it's you, and what she's picking up off you, and what she's already got in her own store of knowledge. She's not going to swap one for the other. She's going to integrate the two into something totally different, which again is moves on into the chariot, because the chariot, and this is your immediate future, Cat, is the start of a whole new journey. But linked in with the hermit, it's the start of an whole new journey into self-discovery. So basically, what this reading is stepping through is you've got your own um, bank of knowledge. You've recently been getting a new bank of knowledge off this male person who I do honestly think is you, Andy.
Right.
There's going to be an integration of this information, most definitely an integration. It's not going to be a swapping of, so she ain't going to switch from like believing in spirits sort of thing and switching straight over to Fae.
hmm
There's going to be an integration of Fae and spiritual into an whole new thing for her.
Right.
There's going to be some kind of meshing of the two. It's then going to start, but this is going to be immediate future. What she learns now is suddenly going to set her off on a journey of some kind of self-discovery. You're gonna find knowledge for yourself, Kat, by learning off what you know and what you're currently learning. This integration, and you're gonna feel at times like it's pulling you in all different directions, and you're gonna struggle a bit in the next 6 months or so working out what is right for you and what is wrong, as is signified by the black and white sphinxes. It's opposites pulling away from each other. Again, good and bad, light and dark. But there's definitely this integration, and is really strong in this reading.
Right.
It is really strong. This weird integration of knowledge, but it's going to integrate, but it's going to integrate in a really strange way because it's going to cause a pulling in different directions. So as you mesh it together, Kat, it's going to question all your beliefs, and some things that maybe you hold dear to yourself now, you're going to question and maybe change your idea on, and some things that you don't believe in, you're going to suddenly integrate into your beliefs. And what it's saying at the end is this for you is going to be a journey of self discovery, and it really is going to be a journey of self discovery. But this is a journey you're going to have to take on your own. So regardless of what you're learning off other people, you've got to you're going to reach the point where you've got to put it all together for you. You've got to put it all together for yourself, Kat. You've got to make your own decisions here. Nobody else is going to be able to say this is how it should be. That's right. What you integrate here together, eventually you've got to sit back and process for yourself and think, yeah, that's right. I'm discarding that. That's wrong. I'm keeping that sort of thing. You're going to find your own pathway through this. But this journey is definitely it's already started. The integration is now, definitely now. You're present. The the processing part of it is in the next 6 months, is what your cards are saying with the Chariot. This movement, constant movement, but it's constant movement in all directions is what I'm getting off the card. And light and dark, good and bad, yes and no, is what I'm getting. But it's definitely showing, it's definitely showing a lone wolf approach at the end. Cat, you're gonna have to process all this stuff that you find out and sort it out for yourself. Nobody's going to be able to make those decisions for you. This is definitely your ball court in the end. So I hope that was okay for you.
That's absolutely amazing. I can't believe because I know a bit of Cat's obviously journey so far, and it were absolutely spot on.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
There was a lot of movement and decision making in that. And it's always nice to see the hermit. I like the hermit. I'd rather see the hermit than the tower. So you're not going to die, Cat, so I don't need to buy myself a suit. But that was literally all about knowledge and choices, Andy. That entire
Yeah.
reading was about knowledge, but it was that integration was really strong, really strong.
Very good.
And I can honestly say I don't know what conversation Andy and Kat had the other day because I don't.
No, no. Only me and Cat, and probably Becky if she were listening. Becky's looking at me and says, "I ain't got a clue."
Right, who's next?
It's Gillian.
Gillian. What's the panic? Shall I get my black suit now? Oh wow, you're getting quite strong off things off this straight away. Right, Gillian. Past is the Chariot. Now, from this card, I'm actually getting the turbulent side of the Chariot. Not negatively, but there's been a lot of upheaval. There's been a lot of the pulling into different directions thing that is really strong in this card. Now, it's nothing bad. Honestly, Gillian, there's nothing bad. You ain't going to die or nothing. I'm no death sayer, but you ain't going to die. There's been a lot of decision making in the recent past. There's been a lot of pulling in all different directions. You've been on a bit of a roller coaster in the recent past, which is leading into the death card, which is showing that is actually coming to an end now. That's not the dying of a person. That's the dying of a situation. There's it's linked to the star and it's linked to the Chariot. So there's nothing negative about that death card whatsoever. Honestly, there's nothing negative about it. All it's saying is that the situations that have been in your recent past, with the pulling around, the movement, the constant decision making, that is actually coming to an end now. And because death linked to the star is a really nice, it's the nicest meaning of death. It's the death of it's a symbolic death. It's not a physical death. The mankini strung in there and nearly cut me in two last time I had. There are big changes around you at the moment, Gillian. Quite drastic ones, I think, are coming up or are happening as we speak. I don't think it's a single death of a situation. I think there's a lot of tiny little deaths surrounding you at the moment. And I don't mean people and things. I mean basically of situations and even ideas, wishes, thoughts like that. I think it's like a total reevaluation here. It's more of a reevaluation. That death card is showing more of a reevaluation of your present situation more so than you know somebody's dying in your present. Is that happening? Yeah. That this is what's happening now. There's the death of a lot of little situations, death of a lot of ideas, even the death of maybe outlooks and things. But because it's linked to the star in your immediate future, what that tells me is what's going on now, and the course you're plotting now is a good thing because it's leading into the star, which is the star of hope, and it's always a positive card to have, and it's always great to have it in your future. Um, but linked in with the hangman, it's basically telling me that I think you've hit the point now where you've got your thing set. There's no deviating off the course, left or right. What's going on around you now? Your hopes and wishes and stuff. They're the right way to go. You're in the right frame of mind. You're making all the right decisions at the moment. You need to cut away the old chaff and just plough forward with what you've got planned. There's definitely plans here because your death's linking into the stars, which is hopes and wishes. So it's saying leading up into your immediate future, what you want to happen is what you can make it happen with all these changes that are currently swirling around you at the moment. And because the final outcome is the hanged man, which is a sign of suspension and non-deviation, it's saying that you've got your eyes set on a target now and you're heading straight for it. You're like a train going straight for a tunnel. Um, and it is saying that you're on the right track. So I don't know what it is you've got planned or what it is you want to do or what it is you hope for, but what these cards are saying is stick with it because hopes and dreams are going to come true, and all you've got to do is just maintain the path that you're on now. Don't deviate one side or the other. You've made your decisions with what's going on, as signified by the death card. The star card is saying that hopes and fears are positive, hopes and wishes are positive, and they're the way to go. It's pointing that what you want is the way to go. Because a lot of the times the cards will actually tell people, I know this is what you want, but not a good idea. Where this one is the exact opposite. What it's saying is what you want is exactly what you should go for. And that you've already made your mind up and there's no deviation from the path for you now. But this is probably the most positive one tonight, thank God, even though the death card's in it. Um, but yeah, that is a really really good spread, Gillian. There's nothing negative in that whatsoever. Even though you've got Death and the Hangman, which are two sometimes negative cards, because they're separated because the star sits smack bang in the middle of them. It is one of the most positive cards you could actually have out of the deck. So it's telling me that both those cards, it's the positive aspects of the cards, not the negatives. But you're definitely on course for what you want, is what it's saying. Yeah, definitely a really, really nice positive read in that one, Julian. Nothing negative in that whatsoever. Nothing whatsoever. So I hope that helped.
Very good.
Who's
Yeah.
next?
Next is Jackie Matthews.
Jackie Matthews. Okay. It can sometimes signify a physical death, Cat, but there has to be a certain combination of cards for it to normally mean a physical death. And I have had them come up occasionally, but I tend not to say to people, there's a death sign in your cards. Because all these people getting. This is why I've got no points on my own channel, Andy, because I can't play.
Too busy.
Yeah.
Too busy.
Right, so I'm going to do a flick of these cards. I don't do this very often. See if I can still do it. Yep. Right, who is it we're doing it for, Jackie?
Jackie, yeah.
Right, can you see them? Right, we've got the Lovers, the Empress, the Tower, and the Magician. I always hate the Tower in people's readings. There's nothing positive about the Tower.
I love that card.
I always consider it the worst one in the deck.
Really?
I would rather turn Death over than that, honestly. And most people freak out when they see the Death card, but for me, that one is always... It's always negative. It ain't always disaster, but it is a negative card.
Mm.
Or it's an ending card. Right, who was it?
Jackie.
Jackie won it.
Yeah.
Right, Jackie. I think these two cards, the Lovers and the Empress, are combined. And they're relating to somebody's marriage. I don't know whether it's your own marriage or somebody else's marriage, but somebody's marriage is really significant at the moment or has recently been significant. There's something to do with marriage here and family. Mother as well. Mother. Something to do with knowledge of a woman or knowledge of a woman. There are actually 78 in a full deck, but I don't use to do these little 4-card ones. I don't use the minor arcana, only the major. Yeah, this Jackie is definitely linking to a partnership, but it's a romantic partnership, and it's something to do with the female side of the partnership has actually been very significant in either now or very recently in the past. There's something to do with a partnership here, a romantic partnership. And I always think of marriage when the Lovers and the Empress come together, which is it's making me think of somebody's marriage or somebody or two people living together. It's definitely it's definitely romantic linked. Definitely romantic linked. And linked to the Tower, there's been a lot of destruction and change surrounding this relationship at the moment. It's and I don't know how negative this destruction is, but there's been a lot of things that have happened unexpectedly around this. It may not be to the relationship itself, but I'm getting the impression that the destruction is surrounding this relationship. It's springing from this relationship. It's one or the other. This relationship, whatever it is at the centre of this problem. And it's like, imagine it as a great big vortex spinning round, and for some reason, this relationship is sitting in the eye of the storm. I don't know why, but linked to the Magician, there's something being kept hidden, or there's something secret going on regarding this Jackie, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. There's sleight of hand going on. Is that what it is? Your best friend? There's some kind of deception going on around this relationship, but there's a lot of destruction around it. It is think of the Wizard of Oz and the house going up in the tornado. Well, the relationship is that house in the tornado. That is it. That is at the vortex of it all. And I don't know whether it's actually causing the problem or the trouble is swirling around it. I think it's coming from the relationship. But there's something not fully revealed about it at the moment that the cards are warning you to keep an eye on. Be very careful of anything you hear or anything you do. No, this ain't a negative reading. Because I don't think this is you. It is you, but this relationship is you're on the periphery sort of thing. But there's something there. There's something that ain't known. Something that ain't been told. There's something you're not aware of. And what it's saying is, be very careful what you do in relation to this into this vortex. I'm just getting this impression of a tornado spinning constantly, and that you're going to get sucked into it if you're not careful, because of something that you're either going to have a secret about it revealed to you, or there's something secret about this relationship. There's some kind of deception there that you're going to become aware of, and you're best ignoring or not getting involved with, because otherwise you're going to get sucked in, is what it's saying. And you really don't want to. This is just warning you about this relationship for some reason, and I don't know why, but there's a lot of destruction around it. Definitely a lot of destruction. Very disruptive. Very, very whatsy. But this is more of an advisory reading. It's not negative at all. It's just saying be careful, you don't get sucked into it. Be very, very careful, because there's something there. There's definitely some knowledge there that ain't public knowledge. It could be. It could be an affair, Lee. But there's knowledge. There's knowledge. There's knowledge there that you've got to be careful of. Okay? I hope that helps, Jackie.
Definitely.
That was a weird one, because I got that whirlpool. It was just constant spinning around the
Yeah,
relationship.
the tornado style
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Even though the tower was showing lightning, I was getting, twister around the
Right.
relationship.
Right.
Right, who's next?
It's Fiona Fairy.
Fiona Fryery. No, it weren't a negative one at all, Joanne. It was just an advisory of, something's going on, and to be careful of what you hear and what you know. How many's left after this, Andy?
Well, this is your last one, but Sugar Skull asked if she could have a cheeky last reading.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So you're on list, Sugar Skull.
Ooh. Oh, my God. Wow. Right, who's this for? Who's this for, Andy?
Fiona Fairy.
Right, Fiona of the Fairies. Um,
Now, if this card doesn't say that Shrek's coming into her life, I ain't gonna be happy.
what this reading is saying to me is there's a lot of hidden knowledge here. Every one of those cards signify the hidden. This reading, and I ain't getting the impression it's negative, but there's a lot to do with hidden knowledge in this reading. And I don't think this is a past, future, present one. I think this is a combination. This is a all of them together sort of thing. Right, Fiona. Again, it's more paranormally, this one. There's something. There's hidden knowledge. Loads of hidden knowledge. From various people. Right. There's something coming here from. I'll get the impression it's 3 separate people. 2 of them are good people. 1 of them are out for themselves. Yeah, I like the devil card, Joanne. He's quite a funny card sometimes. Yeah, it's paranormal. It's definitely paranormal. There's a gaining again, like similar to cats. There's a gaining of knowledge, but this is a good and evilly type thing, because the moon's sitting right next to the Hierophant, and they're like the moon signifies travelling the path between good and bad. That's what the 2 towers show you. Knowledge unknown was creeping up on you, but the Hierophant is positive, mystical knowledge. But you've got the devil and the magician either side. Now the devil is the negative one. He's the deceiver, the one who's out for himself, whereas the magician is the helpful one. Um, there's something you need to be aware of here, Fiona. There's whatever, I don't know what you're into, spiritually, but I'm getting the impression here there's three people involved somewhere along the lines. Two of them are okay. Two of them are giving you good advice. Two of them are teaching you good stuff. One of them can't be trusted. They're doing something that would have a negative impact on you if you actually took their advice. So you're going to be getting this advice off three separate people, and it's definitely paranormal. It's not, it's spiritual. It's not like, should I have my hair cut or not? It's people who are learning you things on a spiritual level, and two of them are trustworthy, one of them isn't. Um, and this is all together. The one of it, and if you notice, the magician and the hierophant are side by side. Then split off by deception is the devil, and that is why that's what's giving me the impression it's three people. The magician and the hierophant represent the two good people. The devil represents the bad person, and they're divided by deception. And oddly enough, if you look, the towers connect them because the two towers on the moon represent good and evil. That is what they represent in the picture. So you've got two of them to the side of the one tower and one to the other. Um, yeah, whoever comes in now is going to have to wait until next Sunday, Andy.
Right, cool.
Um, there's a lot of advice coming to you, Fiona. There's a lot of I presume, being that you believe in fairies, that you am into the paranormal and stuff like that. But what that is telling me is sift your information carefully. But if you hear a similar thing off two people and something entirely different off somebody else, what it is saying is believe the two over the one, because the two are giving you what is accurate, what is right, or what is good for you. The one who's giving you an entirely conflicting opinion on something are out for themselves for some reason. Um, and I don't know what. There's some kind of deception with them. There's something they want from you, Fiona, and I can't quite put my finger on what it is. They want something off you, and I think it ain't a physical thing. It's definitely a information or belief. They want to know what your beliefs are, or they want to know what you think of certain situations, and they're going to use that, or they want to use that as some form of control over you. So just be very careful of that one person. But you're definitely on a learning curve at the moment, Fiona. There's every single one of those cards is what I call the spiritual card. The spiritual knowledge cards. Um, the only one that we could have added to that one was the High Priestess, and that would have been what's Joanne kidding about. There's definitely an absorption of a lot of knowledge here. You've got a lot of it coming in at the moment, Fiona. But all it's warning you is to balance out what you're hearing. It's basically saying go with the majority. Go with the majority. But that's all I can tell you. That's all I can tell you, Fiona. There's definitely somebody working against you, and two people working with you. So just be careful who you take advice off. Just be careful who you follow, and just be careful who you believe, because the two will always lead you on the right path. The one on the other side is doing it for their own benefit. But that's all I can tell you. So I hope that helps. There you go. Who was the last one, Andy?
The last and final is Sugar Skull.
Sugar Skull. What a
Aye.
pleasant combination. Yeah, Fiona was definitely on a voyage of discovery with that one. That was a very that was very I don't, if I didn't know better, that I would say that would be a spread for somebody with psychic ability, considering how many of them there was.
Mm,
I get the feeling that was something to do with advice about psychic matters. That was what I was getting.
very interesting.
But one of them's dodgy. One of them is definitely dodgy. Right, sugar skull. Oh,
Oh.
that's me not looking at the screen while I put them down.
I think you need some marker points.
I know, I do actually. I need to put some little lines on there. What's it? This is what I was actually thinking of engraving this black glass with the Ouija board.
Oh, is it black glass?
Yeah, because it'll show up really nice.
Ah.
Oh God, this is an interesting one. Again the moon, again the hermit, and again the devil. This again is a spiritual advisory one, but not to the extent that Fiona Freire's was. I'm going to say that now forever, Fiona Freire. Um, you again. There's been a bit of adversity in the recent past. Um, Conflict, pulling of sides. There's been conflict in the recent past. Conflict that somebody's been, shall we say, stirring the pot with. Um, and I don't think I don't get family with this. I get slightly wider, in a close inner circle of friends. There's been some kind of conflict going on there, but somebody's been a bit of a ringleader in it. It took a bit of a toll on you. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely conflict. Unexpected conflict as well. Conflict that crept up on you. Um, Good and bad decisions. That this past is it's just conflict, and I don't necessarily mean conflict on a negative basis. I mean like conflict, good and bad, light and dark, right and wrong, that kind of conflict. Not throwing punches at each other, but there's been some kind of there's been a lot of conflict recently, a lot of it. But you've risen above it by the strength, because you link into the strength and then into the hermit, which is self resilience. So what that is telling me is whatever this conflict is, and I get the impression it's outside the family, but within close proximity. So I'd always take that as close friends. Is the impression I'm getting? Definitely close inner circle, but not necessarily family. Um, but you've kept yourself apart from it. I think there's been times where you've maybe wanted to jump in, but you've had the sense not to. Um, Again, linking in with the hermit, it's this self resilience thing. There's a lot of self resilience coming through this, and because the devil's sitting the other side of it, which is bondage, and not in the sexual sense, being under somebody else's control. You've got strength, hermit, and the devil in that order. So that tells me is that there's been some kind of battle there's some kind of battle for control of something that's coming up. It's coming up quite soon. Um, oh God, the future card, which is the hermit, which is the self resilience, and again something. The lamp. It's something to do with the lamp and the staff. The lamp and the staff. The lamp is illumination. There is something you're going to become aware of. Definitely something you're. Do you see marriage with me and my boyfriend? I don't know, because I ain't doing this reading for you, Miss Rachel. Um, there's something you're going to become aware of, Sugar Skull, and it's something to do with strength. It's all to do with inner strength around conflict. That is what I'm getting, and that somebody's not going to be happy at the end of it. It's not going to be you, but there's some kind of conflict been going on. You've been on the outside of it, looking in. You've made your own decisions on it, but it may have trapped you in a certain way that maybe you had no control over. Is what it's saying. It's warning you to be careful to make your own decision on what this thing is in the past. Is bleeding right the way through into the immediate. It's coming through the present and into the future. It's not something that's finished. It's something that's ongoing, and it's warning you to be careful because you could end up trapped in a situation not of your choosing if you don't follow your own mind. Is the best way of putting it. You'll know when the time comes. You'll know what the right decision is. And if you if you go against your own self-interest to please somebody, which sometimes, is a good thing, what it's saying in this respect is when this conflict comes to a head and the decision is there for you to make, this particular has got to be self-interest, because otherwise you're gonna trap yourself in a situation you're gonna find very difficult to break out of. You've got to go for yourself in this. You've definitely got to go for yourself, because otherwise this situation is gonna suck you in, or this situation is going to end up with you coming out worse, even though originally it was nothing to do with you as such. You were on the outside of it. You've kept yourself apart from it, and it's saying make the decision for yourself, sugar. Don't make the decision that benefits somebody else. In this respect, you've got to make the decision that will benefit you, because that one is the right one. And I hope that helps. But that isn't a negative reading at all. It's just saying, the summit there going on. It's been going on for a while. It's still going on now. It's going to go on into the future, immediate future, the next 6 months. But it's coming to a head in the immediate future, where the decision time's rapidly coming. But you've got to make the decision for you. Go with a gut feeling on this, and go with the decision that you feel is best for you. Right? Okay. Yeah. Well, it's still. I know it's still ongoing, sugar. I definitely get the feeling it's still ongoing. But you've got to make the decision that is right for you. Don't make the decision that's right for others, because that will be the wrong decision. And I hope that helped. There you go. Is that the last one, Andy?
That's the last one.
Cool. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that. What time is it? Oh, we've got loads of time to chat now then.
Yeah, 10:30.
Right. Now, I am going to drink my cold coffee and smoke my cigarette. So if Andy doesn't mind for a couple of minutes, if you'd like to ask Andy anything paranormal, feel free, and I'm sure Andy will answer. You okay with that, Andy?
Yeah, of course.
Or anything else you want to put in chat, you're perfectly welcome to. You're welcome, Jackie. You're welcome, sugar.
If everybody who's been in tonight can give Brett a thumbs up, because he's done absolutely brilliant again.
Oh, and I've ended up with a dry throat again, a cold coffee, and an half-smoked cigarette.
You'll get used to it.
Yeah. I will do them again next Sunday. I'll start doing these as like a regular Sunday thing.
A regular thing, yeah.
Yeah. And just keep me Friday one as, chatting about everything paranormal.
Yeah, cool. Absolutely brilliant. Oh. So, what's the topic of discussion? What do people want to know? There's obviously some burning. I can feel the burning questions.
Hi, Maureen. I didn't realise you. I do apologise if I've missed anybody's typing anything in the chat, because when I fix on the screen, I have to look at the cards, and I do get sucked in, and I totally forget about chat. I do apologise. That's why I said just grab anything. Yeah, I did it last Sunday, sugar. I'll do it next Sunday. There you go. Oh God, Joanne's got a question.
Oh, go on, Joanne.
Enjoy, Andy. I'm having my cigarette and drinking my coffee.
Go on, Joanne.
Yes, knackered. It does. It does take a lot out of you mentally because I've always said the tarot cards they aren't. They aren't. I'll let you answer your question in a second, Andy. I'll just answer that
Yeah,
quick.
no
That
problem.
they aren't fortune reading as such. They are basically a springboard for intuition. Like I was saying last week, you look at a card and certain things on the card spring out at you, and cards either side affect you. You know, you see a lot of these channels where they do these one card readings, and personally, as far as I'm concerned, they ain't worth listening to because you cannot you cannot get a you can give a general meaning of the card, but cards affect one another. You know, some cards are always negative, like the Tower. Some cards are really positive, but there are cards that are actually what are called neutral cards, where their meaning will vary depending on what surrounds them and also what leaps out of the card at you when you're looking at it. So you'll know by what's surrounding it whether it's a negative thing that you're going to get or whether it's a positive, and then you have to wait for whatever comes out of the card at you. The cards themselves have absolutely no power whatsoever. It is definitely an intuition thing. There you go. You can answer your fake questions now, Andy, because I'm really
Oh,
enjoying this ciggy.
right, here we go. Right, Joanne. So yes, there is obviously certain types at fae which like beer more than others. Obviously, leprechauns are really interested in it. Anytime. But what you'll find is with most of others, it's only in festivity times, you know, like such as Samhain that we did and stuff like that. We've we've got gist that they like have festivities every full moon cycle as well. So putting some sort of alcohol out. They'll all like different stuff, but cider's a good one. With being based on apple, really really favoured, and mead. If you can get any old style mead, they will like a little tipple of that as well. So yeah. Maureen, what age do the Fae live until? We can't answer that. Um, a lot of people have theorised it, saying that it's compared to our short lives, they'd seem immortal to us. But apparently, they have got expiry dates themselves as well.
You make them sound like a loaf of bread.
I know. They all come with little dates on little
Best
tats.
before.
Yeah. But because time moves differently for them, it's such an hard concept to try and work out. Oh, yeah, you better offer them cider then, Joanne. They'll love that.
See, I like cider, but cider don't like me. If I drink too much of it, I get really bad stomach aches.
Right.
And I love cider. Scrumpy I'm okay with, but fizzy ciders really give me bad stomach ache. But yeah, it does knacker me after a while, and like I say, I'm going to take some paracetamol in a minute. But it ain't just a mental thing. It's the fact that because I'm sitting here talking, and Jay, I only do my streams on the nights when Jay's ain't here, because I think it's a bit rude to be sitting here talking to everybody else when he's sitting there on his own.
Bless
But
him.
I have to run. I've actually run and did me a couple of coffees tonight, thanks to Andy, and drank them. But I'll get low on nicotine and low on caffeine, and I ain't good. I really ain't good at all. What I was going to tell everybody as well, we will be filming the wand um, workshop as long as people who are there are happy with it. So you'll probably be seeing videos on Andy's channel and on mine of us actually doing the wands.
Should be interesting, shouldn't it?
No.
Something a bit different.
Yeah, it's the Rider Waite deck, Joanne. I'm actually I'm actually looking really looking forward to it, Andy. Well, I've been working on my wand all
Intensively.
yeah for the last 2 days, but I've done it because I know one, I know I'm doing them big readings for you and Becky and Kat,
Yeah.
and Jason is going to want to use my Dremel, so I thought I'd best get all my bloody yeah. I'll give you a quick flash of my wand if anybody wants to see how it looks at the
Oh, go
moment.
on, give us a flash.
That's oh god, it's weird doing that. That is actually part of the skull on it. As you can see, Andy, the crystals are currently wrapped in wire,
Yeah.
but they're going to be bound, and it goes all the way down in a spiral, and right at the end there's actually a snake's head with a crystal in its mouth.
Wow.
But it's very very thin, so I have to be careful with it. But I will actually show it you when it's properly finished and varnished and everything.
It was looking really cool.
It's been a night. I keep sitting here and I think, I'll do that to it. Now I've promised myself now I'm doing nothing else to it until Saturday. It's done as far as... have you got any really fine sandpaper? Because I ain't got no fine sandpaper.
Yeah, we're going to pick a pack up.
Well, I'll give some money towards it when I get there on Saturday.
I don't worry about it. We're all going to get some. I need some anyway.
I literally need a little bit just to do a very light sanding over it.
Yeah. Have you ever tried Oracle cards, Brett?
No.
No.
I don't like angel cards either because angel cards are read like a story more so than a... They're like horoscopes.
Yeah, yeah.
More so than actual... I could use angel cards to read like a tarot deck,
Yeah.
but I would just be getting impressions off the pictures with them. I wouldn't be
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
all the... And plus the fact I don't believe in angels and demons, so...
Well, that's it,
I have
yeah.
very little... I can't relate to them very well. I started off originally when I was 14 with the Tarot de Marseille. I had my favourite deck was the Swiss 1JJ deck that I worked with for years, but they got that tatty in the end. They literally fell to pieces. And now I've got the Rider-Waite deck. Joanne's got a feather. What decks have you got, Kat? See, because the thing with cards is tarot cards. They are like anything in the respect of like wands and things. You do have to bond with your cards. You do have to spend a lot of time holding them and just shuffling them and stuff like that. It's very hard to read off a brand new deck. You will find the longer you've owned a deck, the more attuned with it you tend to get, and the more accurate the readings and stuff tend to be off it. But that I don't think that's a spiritual thing as such. It's more of it's a mental connection with the cards.
We've got a few decks. I've got a Salvador Dali set, which is interesting because I got them from local antique centre for a tenner, and they're worth over 150 quid on eBay.
I know. It's amazing what you can pick up sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
If you know what you're looking for.
I've also got Brian Froud's Fairy Tarot, and Becky's.
Oh, you'll have to show me that one.
Yeah, yeah, they're really nice. Imagery is absolutely amazing. Becky's got a set of dragon ones, hasn't you? And another fairy deck. So we've got two apiece there.
See, if it's something I'm interested in, I can work with them. But like I say, because I don't believe in demons and angels, I find angel cards difficult to work with because I just can't relate to them.
There's there's a set where I was thinking about getting. It's Celtic like Druid tree deck, but that's an Oracle set. But I was like, I might look at them one day.
Yeah, but the problem I have with the angel decks is they're very fixed and rigid.
Right.
Basically, there's like a page description of what the card, and it's literally just like reading a story.
Yeah.
And that's why I can't relate to the angel decks. My next will be I like my Rider-Waite deck, and they're actually based off the wood carvings of one of the oldest decks there was. No, I can't deal with angel cards. I just get nothing off them. Absolutely nothing off them. All I see is person with two wings, and that's it. But yeah, you'll have to show me your fairy decks.
Yeah, will do.
See, that's the thing, system. You know, if you can get a deck that's got good imagery, that is what you actually work with. The cards themselves have got absolutely no power whatsoever. But as long as they've got good imagery on them, that is what triggers the intuition. You'll find every time you look at the card, something different on a card will jump out at you when you're doing a reading. And it's not always, the main picture. Like I did one last week when the thing that jumped out at me on the card was the little plants growing in the background, and they were just tiny little after detail. But as I was doing the reading, for me at that time, they were the most important thing in that picture. What how you say Dex? It sounds a little what Dex? I ain't seen the Celtic tree one. Is it just trees, Andy?
I think so. Yeah, just in all different like formations and sorts, and you know, they look nice. Imagery is lovely on them.
But that's what you need. As long as they've got good imagery on them, you'll see. It may be something silly. You could be looking at the card and see a mushroom on the ground, but
Mm,
that mushroom has got some kind of mental connection for you to someone else, and that
yeah.
is how it works. There's no it's no calling on spirits. It's because a lot of people seem to think you've got to be a medium to do it, and you and
Yes.
you haven't. It's an intuition thing. The tarot.
Hmm.
There's nothing mystical about it. It's things pop out at you. There's nothing mystical. There ain't no spirit whispering in your ear hole. Tell them this. Tell them that. Nothing like that.
That information does sell though to a lot of people.
Oh
And
yeah, of course
you
it
can
does.
see why they do it, but
Yeah, of
obviously
course
it's
it does.
it is wrong to state if it's not happening.
Yeah,
You know.
and I'm always wary of card readers who ask you a lot of questions. If you tell something and they say, "Oh, it sounds like me," what's it? Fair enough. But when people go, "Are you married? How old's your husband? Is
Hmm.
he still alive?" And that it's like cold reading
Cold
mediums.
reading. Yeah. Yeah.
Constant. And that's before they even do the reading. I ask questions during a reading because if certain things come out, like things with people's parents and stuff,
Hmm.
I always say, are they living or dead? Because I'm getting the parent connection,
Yeah.
but I don't know in what context until
Yes.
they say they're around or not. And I know, like with, I think it was Stephen tonight, when he said his parents weren't around, I knew then it was something connected to his parents, but not actually directly his parents.
Yeah.
And I've never made any claims I can talk to the dead or I'm psychic or anything like that because and I've done this. I've done card reading now for over. Well, I was 14 when I started it, and I'm 50 in January, so that's how long I've been reading them.
Wow.
But yeah, my very first deck was the Tarot de Marseille, and that they were quite a medieval. They were quite a difficult deck to work with actually. I liked them, but the pictures were quite medieval and stuff. And then I had a Swiss. It's called the Swiss One JJ deck, and they're quite bloody expensive. But I do like my Rider Waite deck. Right, no problem, Jackie. Thank you for coming on the stream.
Good night, Jackie.
You have a good night. Yeah, that's exactly what it is, Joanne. Tarot cards are totally intuition based. There's nothing mystical about them. Nothing mystical about them at all. Unless you count intuition as, which I suppose you could. But it's not. There's no connection to the dead telling you anything or anything like that. And this is why it always makes me laugh when people go, "Oh, tarot cards, they're evil," and they have absolutely. Well, so intuition's evil now, is it?
Yeah.
People do have really strange concepts of what's good and evil. It's the same with the Ouija board. I don't consider the Ouija boards evil.
Definitely not.
It's like anything else to do with paranormal and magic or anything like that. It's all to do with intent.
Hmm.
If you go onto a Ouija board taking the pee or with a negative attitude, like attracts like, you're going to end
Yeah.
up attracting negative stuff. If you go on with a balanced attitude, it's potluck.
Yeah. Of course it is.
Um, Christ, I'm trying to think how long ago. See, there's rumours that the ancient Egyptians and stuff used to use them, but the first real recorded, I think it was round about 1700 and odd. and they actually sprang from a game. I think it was in France. I think it was that was called Triumph, and that's where the modern day decks come from. That is actually what the Rider Waite deck is based on, the Triumph deck or the Triumph deck, depending on whether you're French or not. Whether you're waving a wand or a baguette around.
A baguette.
I did laugh when I read that review today, and I thought, what's he on about, baguette? So I googled what was, whether baguette was French for wand, and it was baguette magique, apparently.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, because they were saying how much you got 5 stars for your baguette,
I know.
which was impressive.
I can bake bread. What can I say?
Yeah, I couldn't work out, whether they'd waved the wand round already. But yeah,
No.
I think it was around. I think the majority, the modern decks are based on a game that was played in 1700 France. I think it was called Triumph. 15th, 16th. Yeah, but I know the game was called Triumph. But the Rider Waite deck is apparently based on the actual carvings of the original Triumph deck. That's why a lot of people like it. Yeah, it was actually a card game, Cat. It was called Triumph. Well, actually spelled Triumph, but I think the French pronounce it Triumph. But it's the same with the Ouija board. The Ouija board was basically based off a parlour game from because as you know the Victorians were notorious for the dead. Have you ever seen them books of the dead that they used to do, Andy?
Yes.
Where they prop the dead relatives up and with the living kids and stuff and set pictures.
Dress them all up right nice and that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'd have your 2 living kids and your 1 dead one in the photograph.
Yeah, absolutely bizarre.
They had very, very, very strange beliefs, the Victorians, on death. Very strange outlook on death. Bannock bread. Have you ever? Why does that name sound familiar? Why does Bannock bread sound familiar? It's ringing a bell, but I can't say what, Chris. The name Bannock is. Hi, Sam. Welcome to the stream.
So a Scottish skillet bread.
Oh, I probably heard it from my ex because he was Scottish. I know it was ringing a bell. Oh, I don't like soda bread. Ugh. I've only ever tried it once.
Hiya, Sam.
I like tiger bread.
Oh yeah, tiger breads and tomato soup. Oh, with lots of butter.
Have you ever tried tomato and orange soup, Andy, with tiger bread?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous.
Right.
Oddly enough, I had that in Scotland as well. At the ex's sisters.
Right.
That was what she did us as a starter, and when she said tomato and orange soup, I'm thinking, oh my God, what a combination.
Yeah,
it's absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I ain't a big fan of soda bread. But the Victorians had some really strange ideas on death.
Definitely.
And they're also responsible for a lot of people's prejudices nowadays over certain things as well.
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of the things with the grave robbing that people now think it's to keep vampires in.
Mm-hmm.
As we were talking about the other day, Andy.
Yeah, I've seen one of them graves up close.
Yeah. They're few and far between now with the cages over. But a lot of people don't realise that, it was rich people used to stop their relatives being stolen because, grave robbing was quite a big thing in Victorian England because it was, the height of medical research, wasn't it? When they were first discovering human bodies.
Yeah, we had a massive case on it here in Barnsley.
What's that?
Yeah, we're Antique Centre is now behind there. We're an old chapel and a grave.
Mm-hmm.
And Guy, there was this like, he was a bit of a vagrant at the time, a bit homeless, but he made it his profession to rob all them graves.
Christ.
Yeah, it's quite documented.
Because they used to sell them for like tuppence, didn't they, to quacks and stuff, and they because obviously there was no regulations over medical practices then.
Classic Birkenhair, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely brilliant story.
But had they been doing it in like the 1500s, they'd have been burnt at the stake for being a witch.
Oh, aye, definitely.
God forbid you prescribe somebody a bit of mint, you was liable to be hung or drowned for it. Right. See, but oddly enough, a lot of people don't realise we don't really burn witches over here. We used to like to drown them.
Drown them.
It was America who liked to toast the witches.
Yeah. And you know, right, when I was younger, we got took to this, it was like a school trip. We must have been about like 9, 10-year-old. And we got took on this school trip and there were like this maze and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I sees this massive, what looked like, I thought it were a seesaw. Yeah?
Oh, the Dunkin' chair.
Yeah. So I gets up on it with a friend of mine and my dad comes right, he goes, get off that. You know? And I thought it's a bit big. And then there's a great big round vat at the other side on it, and it was an official ducking stool.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
But the thing is, Andy, with that, it was a no-win situation anyway.
Yeah.
Because if you survived it, you was a witch,
Hmm.
and they executed you anyway. If you drowned, you were innocent.
That's it.
You know, it was a no-win situation anyway for the person involved. I've finished doing them now, Nikki. You'll have to come on next Sunday. I've literally been doing them for 2 hours, and I'm absolutely knackered now. We're just having a general chat now.
Yeah, that's right, Sam. It's a stone throw away from me. I've investigated it a couple of times. Brilliant place.
Good night, Fiona.
Night, Fiona.
You make sure you look after them fairies.
Otherwise, I'll set Andy on you.
Mm-hmm. You'll end up with a very disgruntled gnome in your kitchen.
Yep, that's right, Joanne. You stalker.
So Barnsley was famous for grave robbing.
Well, that little bit of area there, because like obviously we've got antique centre now. Antique centre's like got a big reputation for activity, and a lot of people thought, could it be that? I don't know why they connected it with that grave robber.
Mm-hmm.
Because from my experience there, it's two little things that come across as a little bit childlike,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
That particularly don't like women at all. Yeah, it's really strange.
And they don't like women.
No, they're not very keen on women.
Oh, wow. Like
Mm.
my parrot. My parrot never liked women.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I used to have an African. My sister's got it now because when I moved, you know, he went to live with my sister for a bit and I got that attached to him. I never got him back, but it's common with African greys. They basically take to one sex or the other.
Right.
And mine couldn't stand my ex-wife, you know, which was understandable. You know, I can totally relate to the parrot with that.
Yeah.
And she used to call him Ugly Pigeon, and because she used to call him Ugly Pigeon, whenever he saw her, he used to call her Ugly Pigeon because he was, you know, he used to associate that phrase with her.
Right.
And then I got upset because every time I walked in the room, the parrot used to call her Ugly Pigeon. But it was her own doing because that's what she used to call him whenever she walked in the room.
Wow.
And every time he come out, he used to attack her. You know, he got good taste, that parrot. But he was a bugger for women. You couldn't have him out if there was women in the room because he used to land on their heads and try and pull their hair and stuff.
Really?
But it's quite common. They'll either take to men or women, and then they, you know, they're not particularly fond of the other sex. And there's no thing with them. You know, it ain't like they all like men or they all like women. They just choose
Yeah,
one
yeah.
sex, and then that's it. And he preferred men and didn't like women. He hated my ex-wife. And the other thing he used to say to her a lot was, God, you're effing ugly. Because that was the other thing he used to say to him. And then I got upset when he used to repeat it back to her. And I'm like, well, don't say things on a regular basis to an African grey
Yeah.
and not expect him to repeat it back to you. But it used to be quite funny. I might get him back, actually, and ask him what he thinks of the ex-wife.
Oh, dear.
But he was quite... Has anybody got any paranormal questions they'd like to ask? You can ask Kat as well, because Kat's into Wicca. Anybody wants to ask Kat anything? Yeah, well, my godfather actually, he used to breed them. He'd got cockatoos and, he'd got green-winged macaws, he'd got hyacinth macaws, he'd got cockatoos, and he'd got, obviously, African greys. And that was who I got my African grey off. He was called Jambo. So what form of pagan do you class yourself as then, Kat? You know, what branch of paganism are you? What's Joanne asked? They didn't like chocolate either.
She ain't asked now because I told her no. I'm only kidding, Joanne.
Come on then, Joanne, let's hear it. As long as it don't involve bloody portals.
I know. I fret every time she says something.
When Andy said that the Fae moved in a faster dimension, how do they see us move? Are we in slow motion to them?
Yep. As they would explain it, big, dumb, and slow.
Is that how they've described us?
More or less, yeah.
Charming. See, I think you should send Sam to Leap Castle to see if she can find the red cat for you.
Then she can bloody take me. I'll go with you.
I'd love to go to Ireland.
Well, I have got plans.
Yeah, I keep saying I'd love to go to Ireland. It's just having the dogs at the moment, and you know.
That's it, innit? Yeah. 'Cause, I mean, I'm quite lucky because my mum would have dog for me, but yeah.
Well, you know, I'd love to go and do some, you know, to some of the like the Giant's Causeway and Leap Castle, and
Yeah.
there's a couple of interesting areas in Ireland I'd like to go and think. Do the Fae like witches? Oh, that's an interesting question, Maureen. Do they?
It should be the Fae and witches come part and parcel. That's how.
Cat says it's their own form of paganism.
Oh, she started with these meldings. I see. To some degree, though, we are. You know, we're kind of our own. Because I always describe it like pulling a Bruce Lee on what we've done. I've took elements from quite a few different things and stripped away what we don't need.
Yeah.
You know, and formed a little thing.
But ain't most belief systems like that anyway?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, again, it boils back down to what works for you, isn't it? You know, it is. But obviously, I listen to what they're saying as well. You know.
Yeah. There you go. Sam says I meant to go to Leap Castle and had to give it a miss, but the opportunity will come round again. I'm sure. Sam, I'd love to go. And actually, Sam, when are we going to see your one-eyed doll video? I keep asking about this video, and it's the one video I really don't want to watch. I've got this really bad thing about dolls. But I will watch it out of morbid curiosity. Close your eyes, smell the clovers, zip your pockets, lol, hide your ladders. Why do you think the leprechauns were, you know, became so prevalent in Ireland when they're all over?
But by all accounts, obviously this is not my sort of research. This is what I've read off somebody else. But they are the ones that are easiest to connect with humans. So they'll be more happy to show themselves.
Yeah, but why specifically Ireland though?
I don't know. It might be just where they're settled. Because again, I think a lot of them migrated here as well. You know, like some Norwegian elves and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think there were a lot of migration going on.
So do you think leprechauns may have originated from Ireland and spread out? And that's why they were seen more there.
To be fair, they were documented, well, or something very, 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 very close. I think back in Roman era,
right?
In Rome.
In Italy itself.
Yeah, yeah. If you go down research on it, they originate from over that side. But apparently, leprechauns can be everywhere at a single point in time as well. There's something a little bit different, you know, so they can just wherever they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the rumours that they steal children? And what do they think about it?
I don't believe it for a second. I believe they could take. I think if they ever took anybody, they always brought them back.
Mm.
Um, you see, there's some like sort of unknown knowledge that's written that if they did take a child, it was to train it to be a pure trained witch.
Right.
And when they brought them back, they would be fully trained in art or craft. But for just stealing children, I don't know. I don't think it ever happened, but they know, and they still speak about it today. But they'll always have a joke about it. You know,
Yeah.
they know what we used to think. I think it were definitely a scaremongering tactic because people didn't want people dealing with these energies. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was just a way of disinformation in people and just scaring them away from, connecting and utilising the faith. That's what I think.
Right. So do you think it was Christianity up to the usual tricks?
More than likely, yeah.
Yeah. Because they did come down on paganism really hard when,
Oh, they did, yeah.
when the Roman Empire moved into Britain. Was thinking that trained as witch from young age. That's freaky. Oh, that's nice. The one-eyed doll is in process, Brett. I also got a robotic doll I'm turning into a REM pod. The mouth and eyes move and it burps and laughs. I ain't going to be watching that REM pod. The mouth even freaks me out, lol.
Sounds
Sam,
amazing.
Sam, that's just creepy. You got a Chucky REM pod. Kat says she doesn't follow a particular branch. I connect with nature and the earth. I believe in all things in nature should be honoured and respected. That is not our earth, it belongs to the animals and plants. But we're also an animal. We're not exactly separate from the animal kingdom. As much as people like to claim they are, we are still actually part of the animal kingdom. That sounds quite druidic, actually, Kat. Your belief system. Terry it's bad enough I'm dyslexic, but I'm sure it's working against me, this keyboard. Yeah, I need a new keyboard. This one's pretty much had it. I believe in the power of crystals, herbs, plants, often concocting my own formulas. Bit of a hedge witch. Yeah, you'd have been definitely dunked for that in the 15th century. You'd have been right on that stool. It'd have been more than a twig between your legs.
It'd have been more than just getting your knickers a bit wet as well.
It would, yeah. But if you think about the witch trials, they were absolutely brutal because
Oh, yeah, definitely.
you'd got no way of surviving one way or the other. And it literally was just a way for a lot of them to settle scores with neighbours they don't get on with. Jeez, could you imagine what would happen if it came full circle and started again nowadays?
We'll be all running for hills.
Yeah, there'd be nobody left in the country. You upset somebody on Facebook while putting a wrong meme on, and next thing you know, you're on ducking stool.
Every paranormal channel closed down in an instant.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
We'd have all been burnt in a mass fire. So is anybody else in the channel consider themselves pagan in any way, shape or form?
Yeah, that's an interesting question.
Mags ain't. Mags is totally neutral. Mags is ex-Catholic. Let's see if anybody else is. Yeah, it's rough, right? My fans update. Oh, I'm still talking about keyboards. Thank you, Joe. So is anybody in the chat consider themselves pagan, or are you actually like Christian or stuff? Because I do apologise for my Christian comments, but I've got a very dim view of Christianity, unfortunately.
Same here. Why do you think I always wear shades? It's like an eye roll all the time.
Yeah. Having more pagan beliefs, I have a very dim view of Christianity. There you go. Joanne's interested in the Wiccan stuff.
I know. Yeah, I noticed Joanne was speaking that she was interested the other day.
So, how much have you looked into it, Joanne? There you go. Max says it's just feeling a way through. Yeah, I was baptised Church of England, Maureen, but I really don't believe in the Christian faith at all.
Yeah, same here.
And for that reason, I don't believe in angels and demons. Because, regardless of what people say, they are a Christian creation. I ain't saying there ain't negative entities out there, because there are, but they're certainly not what the Christian Bible preaches they are.
No.
Or not in my opinion, anyway. It's like I always say, just because it's my beliefs don't mean it's right. I could be totally wrong, but in my own personal opinion, I don't believe in angels and demons. Just watching EE and reading stuff, yeah. If it's something you're interested in, you should look more into it.
Definitely.
You should, because I think a lot of people that they do lead themselves into it. Not, it ain't the sort of thing that most people come into from birth, sort of thing. It's something that people tend to develop an interest into. And there's nothing evil about paganism at all, regardless of what people would have you believe. It ain't sacrificing goats and worshipping the devil.
No.
We don't even believe in the devil. So the devil was basically just a Christian form of demonizing one of the pagan gods, or the male aspect of the pagan gods. There you go. Maureen says that's why she's talking to us. I used to be a churchy person, but I like spiritual energy. Think so. Well, the thing is, Joanne, I actually started off when I was, like 15. I actually started off in the spiritualist church, in a development circle. But like Andy, I adapted my beliefs to what I believed. Because the spiritualist church, they're still based around Christianity.
It's still very God into it,
Oh
and
yeah, very much
yeah,
so.
yeah.
Very much so, and I don't believe in any of that. There you go. Sam's a Christian, but not into organised religion. But I've gone to is that a Sikh temple last week to see what goes on, and been to the Krishna temple, an Hindu temple. Good for you, Sam. Good for you. Devil, he's just lived backwards. I never even noticed that. And what's Satan backwards? Natas.
Anagram
Same
for
with
Santa.
live and evil. Yeah.
It's an anagram for Santa.
Yeah, Santa. That's the only way I'll remember it. Satan is an anagram for Santa. And it's like they say, dyslexic people always get to toga parties dressed as a goat. Yeah, exactly. Satan also spells Santa. There always has to be a hierarchy, I think. See, now, the thing is, Maureen, even though, I would class, I ain't like full Wiccan, but a lot of my beliefs are based around the Wiccan faith. But I don't actually believe in, when I mention any rituals or stuff, I never say the god and the goddess. Never. Because I don't believe they're a god and a goddess.
Which we're same as you with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I only did that because the fair themselves took piss out of us a little bit for saying that
Yeah.
originally.
I've never used it. I've never used the god and the goddess. Because I don't believe that, and even though we can say the god and the goddess, it's a bit like the Christian faith in the respect it's like the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. They're one and the same thing.
Mm.
It's just they're different aspects of the same, the same power, so to speak. Terry says same, Sam. I learn first, and that's the best you can do is educate yourself, Terry. Because there's nothing worse than ignorance for spreading prejudice. Nothing worse. Whereas I see, Kat says she believes in a god and a goddess.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, see, this is the beauty of paganism. There is no central belief system in paganism, none whatsoever. It is very much a self-regulated belief system. See, I notice I never call it a religion, Andy.
Yes,
I never call it a religion. It's a belief system to
that's it.
me.
Yeah, I think that's a better way of putting it, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
I'll never refer to it as a religion because to be a religion, you've got to be, worshipping a deity, as far as I'm concerned, and I just don't. There isn't, cat. There is no right or wrong. Well, saying that, there's certain things that I would consider doing wrong, would be wrong, like animal sacrifice and stuff like that. I would consider that wrong. But within the actual process of paganism, on the positive side of things, there is no right or wrong. It is all down to personal belief. I wouldn't recommend anybody goes around sacrificing anything.
No.
Hi, Bewitched. Sam says, growing up, we were not allowed to say pagan, as it was drilled into us that it was all bad. That was the Catholic Church scaring the shite out of us kids. Sam, my dad was brought up in a very strict pagan family. He had a giddy fit when I brought my first set of tarot cards home. But, I just ignored him anyway, and my mother told him to pack it in. And so he had to sit there and simmer, basically. But he weren't happy about them. Even though he claims, he don't believe in it, he still had very strong Catholic beliefs. But it is down to what everybody, what you believe in. Because there are so many, even though I say there's no organised set way in paganism, there are certain branches that people follow, like Druidism, like Andy and Becky and that lot with the Fae. Then you've got like Wicca. Then you've got, people who just like to brand themselves, I call them rainbow witches, because they're varying colours of witch,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is a total load of nonsense personally. But, I always advocate the fact there's no such thing as black magic and white. There is only intent. There's an interesting one for you, Andy. Do the
Mm-hmm.
Fae believe in a higher power?
Yeah, yeah. Their higher power is the Earth itself. I think that's closest we can get answers to, anyway.
See, so there you go. The Fae are very strong in the Gaia theory,
Mm-hmm.
which is something I believe in. I do believe that the Earth is actually a power. I'm not saying it's a god, but I do believe it's our main influence in power. Dan was on top chat and missed all your lovely hellos. Hi everyone, rather than feeling it's alright. It's alright, Bewitched. I'm a multicoloured witch, lol. All the colours of the rainbow. I got into a very heated discussion a few months ago with some woman who kept telling me it was what colour was it? A grey witch, and my friend was a weather witch, and it was like Jesus Christ. Well, there's people that tell us that paranormal research is bad because of certain beliefs. My friends say that I was dabbling. They always do. This is the problem, Sam. There is so much negative connotations with the paranormal, and it is basically based on ignorance. It is totally based on ignorance. People who haven't actually researched the paranormal, you turn round to them and to say, "Oh, I'm a pagan" or "I'm a witch," and straight away they presume you worship the devil, not realizing that the devil isn't even part of the pagan belief system. There you go. Bewitched says she's just an old witch. Why can't I see cat? Pass. You should be able to. Question, or Miss Systems question. Do you think people sometimes hide their beliefs to avoid persecution, even though it's yes, I do. Joker.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
You'll be surprised how many even today how many pagans are still shy about admitting it to people.
Hmm.
You know, and Andy himself has admitted he was dubious about mentioning his spy connections when he first got into it.
Very dubious.
Now, me, I don't give a shit what people think. I'd have just come straight out with it. Lol, does she look at the sky, sees it's cloudy, and say, "My witch"? I've no idea, Mags, but she claimed a friend was a weather witch and could control the weather and stuff, which, you know, I don't think any human on the planet can claim that power. And not all the star symbols related to religion, pentagrams, David's star, elven star, spiritual stars. Yeah, well, all symbolism, if you look back, Chris, it all goes back to paganism because paganism was literally the first religion in one form or another. It far predates Christianity. Yeah, paranormal simply means beyond the scope of scientific understanding. So it literally covers a multitude of things. Exactly. It covers aliens, Bigfoot, divination, ghosts, you name it. Time travel. What's your opinion on time travel, Andy? Do you think it's possible?
What, like a specific sort of thing? Like say if you could build something to carry you to
No, I don't.
past.
I don't mean deliberate time travel, because
So just like the slips.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, because I've had that experience myself, haven't I? You
yeah,
know, on that
that
train.
that thing with the train was
Yeah,
fascinating.
yeah, yeah. So I definitely think it can happen. Um, More than likely, something to do with odd magnetism, thin spots, all that sort of thing. I reckon.
Well, the thing is that science has proved there's a lot of mini black holes
Yeah,
and stuff like that. So who's to say somebody don't walk into one day and get sucked through it?
yeah, yeah. I
It's
mean,
like it's
it's
like I was saying.
interesting that people usually come out of it though as well, innit? You know.
Yeah, but is there some kind of like invisible string that pulls you back? But
Mm.
there again, it was like that discussion we were having the other day when I said, does it explain some of these mysterious disappearances?
Some that's never come back. Yeah,
Yeah, where
yeah.
people are just walking down the road and just vanish for no reason and never seen again.
I mean,
I,
if you think about it, variables that could happen. I mean, you could land into a village where people weren't so nice,
yeah,
see you dressed like this, and be like, "We need to kill it."
yeah,
You know what is it?
yeah. Well, imagine imagine going back to medieval times, around the time of say the time of the witch trials.
Hmm.
You've got your mobile phone in your pocket,
Hmm.
and there's an alarm set on it, and that alarm goes off, and you take your phone out to turn that alarm off, and they can see pictures and stuff in this little box. What is the first thing they're going to do?
Oh yeah.
Christianity is only 2,037 years old. That's if the Bible's to be believed. Apparently, there's a 4 year discrepancy in the Bible from what I was reading. They're actually missing 4 years. Did you know that, Andy?
No, I didn't.
Apparently, Jesus is 4 years older than what they claimed he was.
Oh,
Apparently, it was something to do when I think it was when the Gregorian calendar took over, they lost 4 years.
right.
Started giving thanks to Earth, to the skies, to the animals, etc. Well, you've only got to look at cave paintings to see that the rituals and stuff that were done there. Well, I'm not religious, but geometry scared the hell out of me. You were frightened of triangles, Chris. Mind you, if you think about it, geometry is very interesting when it comes to the paranormal because how
It
many
is.
things, all these things like the Bermuda Triangle, they're always either pyramids or triangles.
Hmm.
It does make you wonder if geometry is in some way connected. And it's like there's a thing, and apparently it's been scientifically proven. If you make yourself a little pyramid and you stick a blunt razor blade inside it, within a month, if you take it out, the razor blade will be perfectly sharp again.
Wow.
And apparently that's been and anybody can try that experiment, apparently. Portals remind me of Grand Theft Auto Vice City. There's a few glitches where you fall into hell and disappear somewhere else in the city, lol.
I remember
Well,
that well.
yeah, but that's basically what people say they are, sir. They fall through holes in time. The Garden of Versailles case being probably the most famous one,
Hmm.
where the two women went for a stroll in the garden and basically saw Marie Antoinette hosting a party.
Can you imagine?
I know. But why do people always claim they see famous people, or they come back as they were famous people? They're always fucking Cleopatra
I don't know. It is a bit bizarre.
or attention seeking, one or the other.
Could be.
Well, the thing is, if you look at the Masons, from the very limited information that the Masons have released, their belief system is basically all based around geometry
It is.
and
That's right.
geometric symbols. The whole of Washington DC is actually built to form a giant pentagram and stuff.
Hmm.
I was a lusty barmaid in a past life, lol. But you never hear that, Mags. If you listen to most people who claim they've had past lives, they're always somebody bloody famous. They're never some shit shoveler in some never heard of village. But have you noticed that, Andy?
I have.
You
I
very
have.
rarely hear. But if you go to like the eastern countries, where Hinduism and stuff, they always their tales, they're always common people from a previous life.
Yes.
But reincarnation is it's widely accepted in Hinduism.
Yeah.
It's
It's like
part of the culture, so they don't feel the need to,
it's like
jazz it up.
that that famous modern case, isn't it? That young lad who got killed with, and he got that birthmark
Yeah,
across his face where they
yeah,
axed him. He
yeah,
took him to the village, grave, everything.
yeah,
Identified who'd done it.
yeah.
Brilliant.
There was a young girl as well in India who died. Who was married to this bloke, and she died, and she was came back again. And when she was about 2 or 3 and started talking, told the current family I didn't like him, didn't want to be there, and wanted to go home. And when when her was 7, they actually took her to this village, which was something like 150 miles away.
Mm.
Which to them, they'd no way be in touch. And she actually greeted her husband with his pet name, her
Oh,
previous husband, greeted all the family members, recognised them, and she actually took them into the house, lifted up a board in this room, and took out this little box where he used to hide the treasures, and showed them all the stuff in the what's
wow.
it, and they accepted her as his long lost wife sort of thing.
Mm. It's amazing.
Yeah,
I tell you somewhere I've always wanted to go. In India, that rat temple,
yeah,
where they believe every single rat in there is a reincarnated
yeah,
member of the family,
yeah.
and they're treated with proper high respect and everything. They go and feed them, and I'd love to go and visit that. Me, the energy's amazing in it.
Kaya, why are you attacking the pillar? There's a question for you. Have you ever asked the fire how the pyramids were built?
I haven't, but we did have because right early on in this channel we were doing like 15-minute focus like topic sessions with Faye. I think we only got. I think we did Loch Ness, we did aliens and UFOs, and fairies themselves. We only did 3, but that were on topics. So maybe one day we might pick that back up,
And
see what we can get.
what did they say about the Loch Ness monster? Yeah, that 27 thing's really interesting about celebrities dying at 27.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Loch Ness monster. They said that a lot on it were a seal,
Yeah.
and they did give me a really bit of cool information though. Because I said, if I wanted to spot something, what would be best place at whereabouts?
Mm.
And what was that name that the gidders bet? Oh, she's not listening to me. There were a specific word that come out anyway. It means a nook in a river.
Right.
And where that nook is, it's actually got one. It's like an S shape in land.
Well, the River Ness flows into Loch Ness, doesn't it? So I presume it's
Yeah,
there.
yeah. And then directly across from what they were talking about is where that guy's camped out.
Right.
Yeah, which I thought were mega interesting.
See, the Loch Ness monster is one of them things that my beliefs has changed in over the years, because when I was younger, I used to fervently believe in it.
Yeah.
Now I ain't so sure. I think reading, doing a lot of research into it. I think a lot of it has been things like seals and floating locks, and also there's a couple of quite interesting. Shut up, Coco. You can share the bloody sofa with Kaya. Shut up. There is a couple of really strange, aquatic phenomenon that occur in that lake because of the
Hmm.
shape and depth of it.
Yeah.
The people have mistaken for it. And plus the surgeon's photo, which was the mainstay of it,
Yeah.
basically, was proven to be a fake. I think the Fair right in the thing that the majority of it, I ain't saying there ain't one there,
Oh
but
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think the Fair right on that one. I think the majority of sightings have been bloody seals. Chris says he'd love for your Andy to do bushcraft paranormal vids, camping and hunting in the woods. No joke, I'd watch. Can show off cooking skills, lol. It's hard to see in the woods at night with your sunglasses on, Chris.
I still do it though. Only thing I won't be able to do in that is hunting. I, yeah, I won't be able to do that.
To be honest with you, Cat, that is how the Dalai Lama is actually picked. They actually sometimes it takes them years to find him, and basically he has to go through a series of tests of identifying former items owned by the previous Dalai Lama. That's how the Dalai Lama is actually picked. He ain't like a. Will you stop digging? He ain't like a random thing. He does. He's actually picked in a spiritual way. Yeah. And they present him with I think it's 3 or 4 different set, like a bead necklace, and only one of them actually belongs to the previous Dalai Lama, and he has to identify it and stuff. Very
What
interesting
do
how they picked the Dalai Lama.
what do you think to them light bodies that when they go into that state and they shrivel up and they take photographs on them and they're all like glowing and stuff. What do you think to all that?
To be honest with you, I think there's a lot that goes on in Tibet that people could learn from. Well, not so much.
Yeah,
Well, it's more so in India now because since China's invaded it, there's been a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
trouble in Tibet. But you know, for the Tibetan people, I think there's a lot that people could learn off the Buddhists. I really do. I think of all the organised religions, I think they're the one most in tune with the paranormal.
Because they say though, don't they, the mummies like they reckon that they're still alive. It's
Yeah,
really weird, really strange stuff.
well, they're big believers in astral projection and stuff like that. Buddhists,
Mm,
and they're even bigger advocates of reincarnation than the Hindus.
yeah.
Definitely so. Yeah, it's really fascinating. I watched a program once on how they and read some stuff upon how they actually selected the Dalai Lama. Sometimes it's years before they find him. It ain't like the Pope where one dies and they select another one within a month. Sometimes it takes them years to locate him again. But normally he identifies himself, apparently. There's certain signs when they're kids that they go and, that makes the search a bit easier. Well, it was quite common in the past to be buried with a little bell, wasn't it? Above ground for you to ring.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It was quite common in Victorian times to be buried with a bell outside your tomb and a string tied to your finger in case, because when they've dug up old churchyards
Yeah.
and they've opened the coffins, they found claw marks on the inside of the lids where people have woke up
Oh wow.
and tried to claw their way out. Because they don't in them times they don't understand things like comas and stuff like that, and there's people who've actually gone into comas. I read a case recently where some kid was underwater for 20 minutes, and they thought he'd drowned, but his heart was only beating like once every minute or 2 minutes, like something like that. And it was only the fact that they declared him dead,
Hmm.
but it actually happened with a friend's son of mine, and they thought they declared him dead, and then they got a call 2 hours later saying you best come back to the hospital. We've detected an heartbeat. He'd been declared dead for 2 hours. And they
Wow.
went, and sadly he passed away again. But that was heartbreaking for him. They had that hope of going back to the hospital, and then it turned out, he died again later. But they said that is what happened. He got that cold and stuff. His heart slowed right the way down. That they weren't detecting it on the machine.
It's intense.
Mm. Them two old mags, unfortunately, they normally pick the Dalai Lama when he's about, I think about five's the oldest when they find him. Yeah, exactly. Dead ringer. A lot of the old sayings come from, old things like that. I'm surprised you don't know about the bell ringing, Andy.
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't at all.
it's quite common, though. It's quite common that.
Right.
But they used to bury them with a little bell outside the grave so they could ring it in case, they was interred by accident. I was just trying to remember the phrase, Maureen. Yeah, dead ringer.
Amazing.
All the dogs have settled down now. They're finished grumping at one another. I've got two full-size settees here, and I'm squashed literally on half the seat, and then pair them on the other, and there's a complete empty sofa on the opposite side of the room. Right, pain in the arse. But yeah, I do believe astral projection's possible.
Definitely.
And I think that, and I do believe that our governments know it's possible because they did a lot of research into it, and I honestly believe they wouldn't have spent the money they did on it unless they knew it was a fact. They were just trying to work out if they could actually weaponize it or not. Yeah, there was loads of people, especially particularly in the Victorian times before they had like electronic heart monitors and stuff, where people, yeah, that's the other one, Saved by the Bell. People actually think that's a boxing thing, but it's not. That is actually another one related to being dug up after they rang the bell. Well, a lot of people believe when when you're dreaming about places, a lot of people believe that it's your soul actually leaving the body and going for a wander round, as is when you get that horrible plunging feeling, Andy, and you suddenly jump up.
Well, I got it. You know, when me and you were on that call till early hours of morning.
Yeah,
Well, I got my
early
head down.
hours of the morning. It was 7 o'clock.
Well, I know it was. But I got my head down that night on settee. And bloody, I don't know. I felt like I was just dropping a bloody dog. Scrailed his nail against settee, right? And I
Mm.
felt like I'd been shoved from the middle of the floor back into, and my legs and my arms went up.
Yeah.
With that pressure, that pull feeling.
Well, advocates of like astral projection believe that when your soul leaves the body, you vibrate at a faster frequency, and they say that sensation of falling or jumping is actually as your soul re-enters the body, it has to slow down
Wow.
back to the physical realm, and that is what they say it is. It's actually the slowing down of the vibration of your soul as it re-enters the body.
It feels awful, I know
Yeah.
that.
And they also claim, you're like linked to your body by this glowing ribbon of light sort of thing, and if it breaks, this tough titanium gone.
Yeah, they say it's a bit like an umbilical cord,
Yeah,
don't they?
so you better say
Yeah.
no. Nobody slams the door after you've gone through it. Real dead ringer for love. Yeah, but yeah, that is where the saying comes from. Dead ringer and Saved by the Bell. He's literally from when they used to bury him alive. Joanne, I had an experience a couple of weeks ago. I was just dropping off to sleep and I felt myself get higher, lighter, and jumped and zoomed up in the air. So I could see the curvation of the earth. That's interesting, Joanne. I often lie in bed and have the sensation that, when my eyes are closed, I'm actually bobbing up and down very gently. Didn't the Egyptians bury their handmaidens? Yeah, yeah. It weren't very good idea to be an handmaiden in Egyptian times because as soon as your pharaoh popped off, you went with him.
Could you imagine?
What?
That's horrible.
Yeah, but it's true.
I know.
The cattle, all his cows and everything, all his servants, they were all bloody killed and bumped in just to wait on the lazy git on in the afterlife. It was so strange, and my legs felt so heavy when I awoke. See, I've never gone downwards, Chris. You must be a bad person. I always float upwards. I've never floated that high, but it's always been when my eyes are closed. But I've actually felt myself go really light and bob very gently up and down like I'm floating just above my body. I've never actually had the sinking feeling, though, thankfully. I wasn't fully sleeping, though. I was in. But they say that's the best time, Joanne, because that is just as the subconscious is kicking in. As you're drifting off into full sleep, that is when they say the subconscious takes over from the conscious. And they have
That,
no idea what the subconscious is capable of because it's vast.
that's exact state I were in as well that morning.
Yeah,
Just about to fully drop off, and
yeah.
oof. Yeah.
That's why they say a lot of people solve problems and stuff in the sleep because the subconscious is a lot more powerful than the conscious. But yeah, that's why they always say you're supposed to have like 4 if you're going to sleep in 4 hour cycles because it's supposed to be an hour of slipping into sleep, 2 hours of REM sleep, and then an hour coming into light sleep, and that's how you cycle apparently. It's never happened to you before, Joanne. We'll just be grateful your umbilical cord don't break, or you'd have been stuck at 35,000 feet.
With no parachute.
Yeah. And no way of knowing exactly where you'd got to drop. Well, there's Britain, but exactly where I am, I ain't quite sure. That's if you believe in the Akashic record, though. God, that to me that's a bit new age, airy fairy for my belief system. But I know some people do believe in it. Like I said, it's all down to your belief systems. You apparently, Joanne, you can train yourself to do it. Same with astral projection. Apparently, anybody can train themselves to astrally project.
Hmm.
You ought to write all these down, Andy, and ask the faith for their opinion on them.
Yeah, yeah.
You ought to do a session where you ask the faith about paranormal things, and people can ask questions for you to ask them to find out.
Be interesting.
Yeah. Oh, what time is it? Well, look, guys, I'm going to give it another 5 minutes because Andy's got a dash in about 5 minutes, and
Yep.
I'm going to close the stream down at 12 tonight rather than keep it running till the early hours because we have been going over 3 hours now. So and Andy definitely needs to get out. But yeah, in reality, we were all floating and didn't know where we came from and can consider ourselves as that. Well, everything came from outer space originally, Chris. The Earth itself was built from cosmic dust that was floating out in there. That's the thing now. I think I came back quick because I was becoming aware of something happening. Quite possibly, Joanne. But they do say that anybody, if you know the techniques on doing it, that anybody, and even the Buddhists will tell you that you can train anybody to actually astrally project because that is one of them things that their monks actually practice quite a lot.
I know a couple of techniques. I used to practice it regular in my younger
Yeah,
days.
yeah, I believe that, Kath. I think you have got to be in the right frame of mind and stuff. And I think when people do it accidentally, that they're in that frame of mind unintentionally, and all things click and out you go, sort of thing. But if you think about it, something's only got to vibrate on a slightly different frequency to what we vibrate at in this reality, and you could step into any reality technically. And I presume that's how the Fae probably do it, Andy.
More than likely, yeah.
By
I,
changing the frequency of the vibration.
yeah.
Here you go, Andy. Do you believe in the night hag or the old hag, or is it sleep paralysis?
Uh, you see, from what I've been told about sleep paralysis, it's usually a dark elf.
Well, that's nice.
Mm. But apparently they're trying to access your dreams to give you information. And to get into your head, they've got to put you into a state where you can't move. That's what I've read anyway.
So what sort of information are they planning on putting in your head?
Well, it's usually linked to prophecy information.
So it ain't negative.
No. Apparently, because people try and fight against it, it don't work all that regular.
Oh, right.
Because that's what I've said to Becky. In case it, like I say, I've only had it once. But if if it ever sparks again, I'm just going to let it ride and see what happens. Yeah.
But the thing is, the natural instinct is to panic and jolt, isn't it?
It is.
It's learning to train yourself. Yeah, transcendental meditation. That's right, Maureen. It is. You've got to train yourself to actually override that instinct to do it. I presume.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's one of them things that literally is instinct. If you feel trapped or can't move, the first thing you do is whoop, and up you go. Max says Rob vibrates, so she has no clue what the hell's doing to himself. Does he actually come back with prophetic dreams now, Max? That's an interesting question, System. When do you think that happens, Andy? At what point in your existence does your soul enter your body, do you think?
So another line of research we were doing right early on, it's what we call pre-life souls. We kind of narrowed it down to, because we kind of talked about a soul as being like a parasite. Like they're always coming in, like they're always going out.
Yeah.
And we kind of got thinking that maybe when the vessel's growing inside, although it can be electronically alive, it doesn't activate until this soul goes in, which sparks the birth.
Right.
So we think at that moment of integration is when the birth is starting.
So you think it enters at the onset of labour?
Yes.
That's quite an interesting theory, actually.
Yeah.
See, that's when I've always see most people say, "Oh, it's when they take the first breath," but I actually think your soul's in there before you come out, because there have been reports of people who can remember their birth.
Yeah.
So I think you've got to be in there at that point, sort of thing, before, at least just before you pop out at the earliest.
Yeah.
At the latest, sorry. He once got chased by dinosaurs. That's a recurring dream he has. I can't see why the Dark Elves would be wanting him to to be chased by dinosaurs unless they're just enjoying the panic.
Just enjoying, yeah. just seeing a story play out.
So, who do you think's visiting your cat? I do suffer from sleep paralysis, but in saying that, I know it's not a psychological thing. I am actually being visited and had the scars to prove it. Year
Oh
before
yeah,
last.
I remember telling me about that.
So who do you think it is, Cat? My sister used to suffer and was pinned down by the devil, who was having his way with her. How did she know it was the devil, though? Was it just her assumption of what she perceived the devil as? See, because my nan always swore blind that she saw the devil sitting at the bottom of her bed, but apparently he was a big blue lion and he jumped at her. So why she associated that with the devil, I do not know, Andy, but she always swore blind it was the devil.
Yeah.
And she woke up and it was sitting on the bottom of the bed and it was a big blue lion and it jumped at her. I'm waiting for Cat to see what I think's visits her. Do you think it's spiritual or alien, Cat? What's your opinion on that, Andy?
What's that?
Something grabbing you and having its wicked way with you while you're asleep?
I think it's possible.
I think there's got to be something in it because of the, incubus and succubus, and
Yeah, yeah,
most things are based on some form of truth.
yeah. I definitely think it's possible.
See, because you hear these stories. Some people claim that they think it's aliens. Some people claim that it's spirits. Well, he told her and Dad who feet. All right. See, I also believe that when any kind of energy form visits you, I think they can take on whatever form they perceive you. You know, I think they can pluck things from your head. So like if you presume it's the devil, they will pluck what you perceive as the devil
Mm,
from
yeah.
your head and take that form. That's what I've always believed. But I don't think I'd ever want to wake up to find myself being molested by the devil. Vin Diesel, I'd be happy with. Or Angelina Jolie. As long as they want to come as one of them pair, I'd be perfectly happy.
I'm just trying to picture a mixture of both of them now, all in one.
Bald head and big pouty lips.
Yeah.
Being raped by a giant trout. Not seen the faces yet, Brett, to be honest, not sure. But last time it happened was when that happened above. There were two of them. One stood up, one knelt by my waist, doing something to my stomach. Oh, wow. When I. Does she come from a religious background, Max? Sorry, I'm waiting for the other half of Kat's response. Does she come from a religious background, Max? Because if somebody comes into your bedroom at night and molests you and you know it ain't an intruder, your mind can, decide that, the next best thing of what it is, even if they ain't a big paranormal believer. All right. So it does make you wonder if it's something that's, like Andy says with the Fae, he believes the Fae can take whatever form they want to. And
All
it,
right.
it, it does make you wonder if they pluck things from your head to appear to you how you perceive they should be.
Hmm.
Apparently, Chris, a succubus has powers that cause that to happen. That is how succubus work. They have some kind of mystical Viagra.
Oh, that explains it. Oh, dear.
Right, well, guys, I'm going to close the stream down because it's midnight and Andy needs to get out. So, thank you for
And it,
coming on again, Andy.
no worries. I've got a 3 mile walk ahead of me.
Oh,
Oh.
God, hang on. Let's just read this last thing of.
I go on.
Managed to force myself awake. My C-section scar had been cut into about 2 to 3 inches, perfectly on the line of the scar. The scar had been there 14 years. Oh, God. I never had any issues with it whatsoever. I mean, it didn't help that when she had her kids, we were looking for horns on her kids' heads. Mags. Right. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. And thanks to Andy for comparing.
No problem.
It's been a good night again. So we'll be doing another stream, obviously, on Friday. And then on Sunday, I'll do another card reading session. So thank you all, and I hope you have a good night.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night, all.
Bye.
Bye.